Yeah. Okay, cool.
Is Jaden here? Jaden?
I'm here.
Yeah, they just kind of got sick of us fucking talking our asses off.
I'm yelling at the TV. I told you.
Awesome. Right, well, let's begin. If I shout as well, sorry, it's new headphones and I can't hear myself, so just tell me if I'm too loud or whatever.
Robbie, too loud.
So, Alishan, you are standing over the place where Alorn's body used to be. Arthas comes and lands next to you, but he sort of reaches out as if he's going to put an arm around you, but stops. You know, he's not sure if that's the right thing right now. He turns and he's not looking at the ground. He's just staring at you, kind of waiting to see your reaction. What would it look like?
Yeah, she's just kind of standing there over the flaking bits of ash that was Alorn Veslar, and hand dripping blood from where she had slammed that bottle into him and cut her own hand to take him down. And she just kind of shifts towards Arthas and kind of like a lost expression on her face, and just kind of like, did that really just happen?
He nods, and seeing you move closer, he puts an arm around you, and you sort of feel a little bit of the sort of warmth as his magic sort of heals you up a bit, and he just sort of nods and says quietly in your ear, "It's over."
Where is Remy right now? I think I was still up at the...
Yeah, so I imagine everyone else is sort of in varying degrees of flying towards this spot. So I think
I was carrying you on the Bigby's hand. That looks
right. Byron and you are on Bigby's hand.
Okay. And Rose wasn't Rose with him?
I think I teleported me and her up to the roof.
Yeah,
that's how we got the hand, and then you smashed him, and he.
Yeah, Bigby's going for the window. So I will just say, sort of for ease of this, is Remy, you're on Bigby's hand, and you've just got outside.
Okay.
So you're really high up, but you can kind of see what's going on. The others are on the roof, so you guys are actually all very close to one another now.
I'll call to the rest of the party. Somebody got eyes on Tavi?
Byron looks over to the direction where he sent Tavi.
Yeah, so I mean, you can't really see it from here.
Well, what I was going to say was that Minerva just blinks into existence and swoops over that way, and he checks.
Elaine isn't answering through the bond that Byron had up.
Oh, of course, forgot about that.
Boarding bonds, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Elaine will just say, "We've got him."
Okay. He's just going to kind of shuffle his feet on Bigby's hand, sort of waiting for this emotional moment to pass.
Yeah. So I imagine sort of Bigby carries Remy down. Byron and Rose, are you gonna teleport down or what? What's your plan?
If Bigby's has enough time, I might take Bigby's.
Did anybody search through the desk pile for magic items? Not to grave rob your dad, but
we should probably secure the scene. That seems like a good idea. And he's saying that, I think, as he sort of turns towards, is it the window or the hole in the ceiling? I can't remember how we got on the roof.
I think it was the window.
Okay.
Window.
So he basically
window.
You see him maybe step off, and Bigby's slides under in perfect unison, and he maybe carries him and Remy and Rose if she wants to come.
Yeah, I don't want to be stuck up here.
Leave the dwarf on the roof.
And we'll go into the hall or something.
So you're going inside?
Yeah, to look for stuff.
Okay. So, Alishan and Arthur's are sort of given a moment to themselves as you guys go back inside, and you're looking around and you see all these like bloodless corpses of, or not corpses, sorry, like ash piles and dust piles of where vampires used to be. You see the sort of like a jar door at the far end, where Tavy is currently like lying just outside of, you assume, with that sort of group of warriors and Elaine who are just out the front door. So if you remember, there's a door behind the throne that like you're kind of coming in from a window in the wall above the throne, so it's below you. And there's two doors, one on each balcony, that was sort of raised up further ahead.
Shall we poke around?
Indeed. The door, is there anything from swooping over them? Is there anything on these people in the grand hall, or is it these doors that draw our attention?
No, I mean, like the dust piles and stuff all had like swords, but they didn't look particularly special in any way. And you don't remember anything interesting magically from the fight.
Okay.
So the only real things of interest, unless you count like vampire dust is interesting, there is the doors probably.
I think where. So Byron brings them into perhaps the closest door. I don't know, left or right. It doesn't really matter. And maybe the mage hand is just scooping a pile of vampire dust into a container or something.
Actually, I was just going to say Remy takes some as well. Could be like an interesting ingredient in some moonshine or something.
Or fertilizer.
Or fertilizer.
Powers.
That's totally like a seasonal moonshine. Their vampire dust
Seasonal
moonshine.
brew. Mm-hmm.
Amp weed for Halloween or something.
That's just good marketing, good branding.
Remy, if you do the honors.
Huh? What?
What am I doing?
I think we're in front of one of the doors, left or right, your pick.
Oh.
And you can
Sure,
push it open, smash it open. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty sure it's not trapped? I mean, otherwise, I'm happy to.
I'm not very good at looking for traps. We don't really have one of those people.
Is it investigation? I could
Yeah.
give it a cursory glance.
Yeah, I'll assist you, so you have advantage.
I actually need to get my dice out.
What?
Did we see people coming in and out, or?
Yeah, so like a troop of vampires came from each door. There was the spawn who came from the balcony doors, and the big bad dudes that came from behind the throne.
That's a 25 for investigation.
Nice.
Nothing of interest with the door. It's a door.
Yeah, Remy will kick it open like an action hero, draw a sword as they go, ha! Just to scare whoever, if there's anything else in the side of the door.
There's not. The door opens into what appears to be a sort of like banquet room. Not especially big. Like, it's probably not the sort of banquet room that you'd bring for like company or a grand feast. It's more like a dining room, but in a castle. And like there are cadavers on the table, just like ripped apart, and like bloody goblets everywhere. It's not a pleasant scene, and there are flies buzzing just all over the place in here, and the smell just chokes you.
Is this left or right?
This is left if you're sitting on the throne. So right as you come in the door.
Right. Okay. I'm going to put right.
I'll start tossing the room, trying not to get too handsy with any of the corpses, but Remy's not afraid of corpses.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could see to some sort of peaceful end to these people. Blessing of sort. Funeral.
We could give them a proper burial.
I mean, it's going to take a lot more than us to get these people out of this room. I mean, there's hundreds of corpses in this castle.
Sure.
I think It's very blessing if you want, but practicality, we're gonna have to wait for someone to come back and help us out.
Can you preserve them for their loved ones to see them? Is it worth us burying them or seeing them on their way? I mean, preserve and present them and not leave them on the dining table, of course. And he kind of like just mumbles.
Remy's tossing the room. Sorry.
I think we could move them off the tables and find ways to store them, yes. Perhaps it might be best to do more of a mass grave type. I don't know if their loved ones would want to see them like this.
No.
Well, they certainly have the right, if that's what they want. I'm saying we don't own these dead. We can't claim them. The people of Balern need to.
There's an argument for either way. People may well wish to say goodbye, but also to not see the black mark on this city. If we were to bury them perhaps on a hillside somewhere and put a monument, maybe they could see to moving forward.
The other
That
thing
makes Remy visibly uncomfortable. He doesn't seem to like that idea at all.
this much death and decay in one place can also spread diseases. We don't want the refugees coming back to a city of pestilence.
Why don't we find them, teleport over, and see who's willing to come back and take care of it? I'm sure we could get a few dozen volunteers to clean this castle out.
I'll make some work on that. And while you're like rummaging, I'll just like be prestidigitationing like areas to try and clean up everything that's there, so it's not quite as gruesome and grisly a scene as a banquet for people eaters.
Yeah, so like you can sort of, I mean, this is like one of those awful daytime shows where you like go in and there's just, like you go into a hoarder's house.
Hoarders, yeah.
It's awful. And so, you can definitely do some, some good to clean this up, but you're not sure all the cantrips in the world would really fix this room properly. This room also appears to have no real way out of it. It kind of seems to be like a dead end. There is like a set of stairs in the corner, but you reckon that just leads back outside. From your keen mind sort of thing, you can sort of work it out.
So there's no connectivity to the right or left side door, the other door we didn't go through?
No, not as such. Okay. Like they're on opposite sides of the halls. Of this big hall. So.
Right.
I guess that the hall itself is the connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
While they're inside searching or whatever, is there anything left of Alorn?
There is.
Besides the ash?
Mm-hmm. So what remains, everything pretty much fades. But there is an amulet, which is quite thick and bulky. It looks like it maybe opens, but you don't see a button. It's sort of hexagonal shape, but elongated. And at the top, there is this sort of rounded point, like a spike, that would point up to one's chin if one were to wear it.
It's a dangerous amulet to wear.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to do star jumps in it.
No. Star jumps, is that what you call jumping jacks?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, God, you Brit.
Freedom jumps.
We call them jumping jacks because they look like jacks from when you're playing jacks, like the bouncy ball jacks.
Mm-hmm.
We call them star jumps because you make a star when you jump.
Yeah, I mean, it makes just as much sense. But I find
I would
that
argue it makes more.
You're probably right, yeah.
Yeah, no, it does because like jumping jacks kind of have an extra appendage. So,
True.
but yeah,
You wouldn't
Elishan
want
is
to do jumping jacks in them. No better.
okay. Well, Elishan is going to pick that amulet up.
Boom, curse.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not sure, but there's definitely something magical about it.
Have I seen him wear it before?
Yes, but he would never wear it over his clothes. But you definitely like have seen the chain around his neck, and maybe like if he opened his shirt or something, it might be there. But you've only ever caught glimpses of it.
Okay.
Those awkward, like daddy in the shower moments. Caught him.
Yeah.
Unless the water is blood. Sorry, dear.
I'm just picturing him like in the shower, like singing to the radio, but it's just blood everywhere.
Right.
Like that scene in Home Alone.
Should we go inside to the others? Should maybe see Octavius. She'll kind of say awkwardly to Arthas.
Arthas nods, like he won't say anything, but he knows. Kind of. Well, he doesn't know what she's going through, but he knows that it's a big moment, and so he's not going to say anything but nod and sort of just start walking with her back towards the front of the castle. As for you guys, inside, you kind of case the room. You don't find anything. The goblets used to be really nice gold goblets, but they look old and dented and, covered in blood.
I mean, we don't need to pillage the city for blood.
No, not at all. I'm just saying.
I imagine the people of the city will probably want to lay claim to some of this wealth. But no, if there's anything dangerous, I'd like to try to find it, or something helpful.
Romantic in origins? Can I detect magic? There isn't any lingering.
No magic in here that you can see.
Okay. Perhaps we could
check the other rooms before that disappears. Yeah. So we'll walk over to the other room and go through the similar process of tossing it and looking around.
Yeah, so that room is sort of similar. It is kind of in a similar state of bedrooms. Not nothing, not the king's quarters, but definitely like there are lots of beds here. There's like dead bodies like in the beds, but just like leaking, or were once leaking blood. These people do not seem to have hygiene as their primary source of or as a primary concern. You do see like in with your detect magic up, you do see that one of the people in the room is wearing like the robes of a priest. Looks like a Beorcan priest, the grey lady, and his holy symbol is glowing with sort of divine magic. And apart from that, there is also like a halberd just propped up sort of in the far corner, just covered in blood. And you're like looking around, and Remy especially, you'd be like, oh, that's a halberd wound, that's a halberd wound, that's a halberd wound.
Halberd, in the bodies, I see. Yeah,
like in a lot of the corpses, they seem to be like, potentially have been executed by a halberd.
Right.
There's like a few heads lying around, severed.
And you said the halberd was magical of some sort?
Yeah.
Okay.
a nice looking halberd. I mean, bloody, but
I'm gonna go over and grab it.
Cool. It, doesn't seem that impressive magically. Nothing happens when you take it, but
I'll hang on to it.
it is like 8 times the height of you.
Yeah, totally. 5e doesn't give you much like penalties for real.
No.
Technically, Remy could wield a greatsword if he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I like the image of you wielding a giant.
Super like anime giant sword.
Yeah, if you spin it too fast, you may take it off though.
How fresh does all of it? All these bodies in here, they're all long term.
Varying states of freshness. Like a couple of them are still, the blood is still liquid, but like some of them are awfully decayed. So, this appears to be a sort of regular occurrence.
So they just murdered whoever they had in the city to feed on, or for pleasure.
Yeah, pretty much. From what you can ascertain, that would be correct.
I don't know about our vampire knowledge, but there were quite a lot of vampires we were just attacked by. Do I guess that there might be some sort of crypt or hive or coven or something somewhere that they would lurk? Or does this look like the charnel hole that they would sleep in?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Make me an investigation check, actually.
Okay. 19 on the dice, so 29.
You don't think much sleeping was done here.
Okay.
This doesn't really look, from what you know about vampires and from what you know about sleeping, it does not look like, there's bodies in the beds, and vampires, they'll cause mayhem and carnage, but they probably wouldn't, sleep like that. So yeah, you don't think this has recently been used as a bedroom, shall we say?
Maybe Octavius will have some answers.
Is there anything else to explore in this part of the castle?
No, I mean, the bedroom sort of like, it's not just one bedroom. You can sort of go in and there's like another one behind it and another one behind it and a few below it. And kind of the further away from the door you go, like the less bodies there are. But, there's still bodies all the way through. Maybe like, imagine like a lot of the kind of chubbier ones are further away, as like people kind of took their I've got a big one, I don't want to share it, sort of thing. So they kind of dragged it further away from the door to get away from the other vamps.
Okay.
Well, I'm tired of looking at corpses. Gonna find Ellen, go home.
There is that other door behind the throne.
Oh, so there is a door behind the throne. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I said that like 4 times.
Yeah, oh, never mind.
It's fine.
One last door, Remy. You could always go check on Elle.
All right, now I'll come along.
All right. You head down, walk along around the throne, and the door's a little bit bigger, and kind of open it, and it opens into kind of what you would describe as like a villa, maybe, sort of a lavish living space, and it's a bit less untouched. It's a bit more untouched by gore. Like, I think maybe sort of younger vampires were kind of confined to the further rooms, and they've, the more mature vampires who kind of got over the initial hunger and everything are kind of, they're a little bit more classy about it. And it kind of opens onto this atrium, and there's another balcony. There's like a heavy black door immediately opposite the door you just came through. Slightly sort of ominous looking door in amongst the rest of the kind of marble, and there's a few like plants around that are dead. This was probably like a really nice place, really nice kind of pleasant, wealthy person's room. You think probably, this is where Gaiad would have lived while he was in power.
Search the fuck out of that room.
Yeah. So like, I imagine it's sort of like you go in and it's this big atrium, like a big square room, and there's doors like everywhere, for a dining room and a bedroom and multiple bedrooms and a kitchen and all that sort of thing. So you can make your way through the house. But yeah, the only real thing of note would be the like door that's out of place, which is that like enormous kind of black iron door opposite. Would you like to search the house first, or would you just want to?
Yeah, I mean, I like to search the house.
Yeah, make me an investigation check then. Advantage because people are around helping you.
Sure. Do you want to take this, Byron? Probably much better at it.
Sure.
If you want to.
Go ahead.
I don't get anything immediately from that door beyond ominous and black.
There's nothing magic about it, but like
okay,
all the other doors are, like really nice shape. They've got like reliefs of, Berlinic characters from history maybe or something like that. Whereas that one is just like, stock ominous dungeon door. Sure.
That was a good job. I had advantage. I went from a 1 to an 18, so that's 28.
Nice. So yeah, you find like it seems Gaiad, or maybe Alorn, I suppose, kept like very extensive bar, very extensive kind of alchemy setup. There's like loads of potions that are all like labeled in Intraconic. I don't know if you speak that.
I do.
Yeah. Then you're seeing like healing potions, like potions of regeneration. Like it seems the man was fairly skilled. You find like nothing like journals or whatever, but you do find some letters. Him requesting support, him sending messages all over the kingdoms, or like drafting letters to send, requesting, requesting information on books. But apart from that, there's really nothing of note in the kind of villa area. It all seems to be like it looks as though it was furnished not by the person who last lived there, but like it was furnished for a king, but not by a king, if you know what I mean.
So it doesn't. Not very homely type.
No. So like when you go to like an Airbnb or a hotel, where it's like there's nice furniture here, but it's clear like no one put no one's made it at home.
Frames of stock pictures in them, and
it's completely dispersed.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Who was he like sending letters of support to request? Who does he consider his allies?
So there were you find a few letters. They look fairly dated, and in fact, some of them are dated from like years ago. In some cases, but you find a letter to like every single kingdom, pretty much. Though more frequently, you find letters to Calland, and you find letters to Beorca and Trest, like much more frequently than the others.
Okay. Interesting. Just so we know who we have to keep an eye out for.
Mm-hmm.
Which cities you need to destroy next?
Yes. Perhaps we should
go knock on the big door.
Well, I was maybe going to say we should regather our companions first.
All right. It's just very intriguing. I mean, it's an interesting looking door.
I would agree. I just wouldn't want to get into anything more, perhaps.
I mean, I feel pretty spry.
Oh, constitution-wise, I'm fine. I just feel it might be safer if we were to reconvene with Aloshan and Arthas and others.
Fair point.
They haven't needed to see what we've seen so far, but maybe through this door would be different.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, they're sort of coming around the corner. So when you guys kind of approach the front, you see the sort of cadre of soldiers there with Elaine, and they're all kind of leaning over Octavius's body. Not that he's dead, but he's just sort of like lying there, kind of like blinking, appears like he's just come to, and he doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah, Elishan would run up to him and kind of throw her arms around him and like a big hug.
And he just like, puts his arms around you. He feels very frail, like, and when his arms kind of go around you, like it's, he's not squeezing you. He's just sort of placing them there, and he just kind of whimpers slightly, like not really sure what to say.
He's dead though. We killed him. Father's dead.
He is. He sort of like croaks. His voice hasn't been used properly in a while, and he sort of smiles up at you, and you see like the elongated canines.
Elishan kind of like sees, like notes them and kind of forces like a wider smile, and trying to exude an air of confidence that maybe she doesn't necessarily have, and just kind of says, "Yeah, he can't hurt us anymore."
Mike sort of puts his lip between his teeth and nods. And he just looks like exhausted. He looks like he hasn't eaten in months. He's pale. His eyes are just dark circles. But there's this sort of like weird relief that comes over him. His shoulders kind of slump and he closes his eyes for a moment. All the while, Elaine is sort of like standing up behind, looking down, and her arms are folded. And to anyone who's watching, which is none of you, you'd see like this sort of turmoil going on behind her eyes. And Octavius sort of like opens his eyes again, blinks a few times, kind of frowns. So, what do we do now?
That's a good question. Elaine, is there anything that can be done for him?
Elaine doesn't say anything. She just looks over at you, Rose, and her jaw is like set. And you've seen this look in Elaine before. She's quite like yourself in some ways. Her convictions and her beliefs are very firm. And you can tell they're being tested now. And you can also tell that Elaine has never failed a test of her beliefs. She just shakes her head.
Nothing?
No. The only thing, and her voice is sort of like wavering slightly, is, and she like looks up at Rose again, but she doesn't finish her sentence.
No heretical research about the theories of possibly being able to undo this?
If there were, I wouldn't do what I do.
If there aren't any theories yet, we can always make some. If we can cure the chaos, I'm sure this will be nothing.
And the breath kind of catches in her throat, and she Jack turns away from everyone, kind of rubs her temples. What are you suggesting? She says, like looking back over her shoulder to Byron.
I suggest that extermination is perhaps not the only way. And if you look inside that chamber, you'll see that we've tried that way.
And it worked.
For some. That doesn't mean there isn't another solution. Rose and I here have cured a great many of a great many ills. Cursed disease. Born from pure chaos. I presume this is similar.
She sort of cuts across you, just staring at Rose, like not as if there's, no one else around. She says, Rose, what is the one thing, the one conviction that rules your entire life that you could never, ever, ever break, no matter what? You can see her hands are sort of shaking. There's like a kind of rustling as her armor kind of jangles.
Everything serves Lathander and his purpose.
You know what mine is.
I do.
That I have to.
The Pale Guard used to hunt lycanthropes too, with the same kind of conviction that you are holding over vampires, and that is not something that holds true anymore. That changed because you met lycanthropes that could control themselves, and that they weren't all cut from the same cloth. Are you so certain 100% that same can't be true for those afflicted with this curse?
We met lycanthropes who could control themselves, who could contribute and be protective. And she's kind of, our eyes flick towards Arthas for a moment. That's why we don't hunt them anymore. If the same were true for his kind, then we wouldn't hunt them either. I'm sorry.
I mean, but Octavius wouldn't hurt a fly. I mean, look at him. And she kind of does the... Okay. As I'm sure right now he's probably playing up the pitiful and pathetic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was well, I couldn't
His
do a thing.
the back of his hand is on his brow. He's like, yeah. But she says, Elishan. Her voice goes real low and quiet. Octavius is gone. That's not him.
And she'll kind of look at Octavius, and does she think he's gone?
Make an insight check.
Do I have advantage for this being my brother?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, 17 plus 13 for 30.
Octavius has done nothing to make you think that that's not the exact same person you grew up with, only spikier teeth. He, as far as you can tell, his personality hasn't changed from what little you've seen so far.
Alishan will shake her head and say, "No, that's him."
Remy's he's kind of standing off in the corner, like with a scowl and considering all this. He's gonna walk over to Octavius and he's gonna get down in his face, get real close.
Say, Tavy, if you had to live this way for the rest of your life, would you wanna?
He sort of like kind of like props himself up on his elbows. It looks kind of painful. He says, "Well, better that than being dead."
So feeding off the blood of the innocent, constant impulses to do harm, dark forces clawing at your soul sounds good to you?
He sort of like looks away, like kind of faltering beneath your gaze. I mean, I'm sure I could work something out. It doesn't just. I wouldn't just have to kill or whatever.
I kind of start to ignore him, and I look up at Elle and I stare her directly in the eyes, and I don't say a word. I just walk away.
It would only be until we can figure out a cure, right?
And if we can't?
Well, then by then we'll know whether or not he can control himself.
So who's gonna die while you're waiting to figure that out?
No one necessarily has to. I'm sure. I'm sure it can be different, she says, but not quite as convinced as she is about everything else.
Tavy nods like profusely. But Elaine shakes her head.
Does the man you know, would he think such a thing? That this state of affairs is okay?
What'd you say at the end there? Sorry.
Does the man you know seem like someone who would want to live this way?
The Octavius I know is a man who likes to live life to the fullest. There's not time for regrets or
Was
things.
he a coward? Because that creature's a coward.
Honestly, yeah, sorry, Octavius, you were kind of a little tit.
He like opens his mouth to complain, but shuts it, seeing that she's working for his best interest.
I won't tell you which way's what. I don't know what I would do in your situation. But a lot of consequences could come from this.
Arthur's kind of like, he's been holding his tongue this whole time. He kind of imagines this conversation's above his paycheck, but something kind of comes to the forefront of his mind. And he looks down at Crean and he says, "Why did Gaiad attack the keep? Was it, well, why did he say anyway? He said it was because we were letting people like him," and he like nods at Crean, "and Vela, people who kicked out of everywhere else because everyone thinks they're evil, bloodthirsty creatures. Why is he any different?"
That a serious question?
Yeah, it is. And he like rounds on Remy and does this sort of like bro chest thing where he like puffs himself up like, "What are you gonna say, man?"
That is a valid point.
Rose. I mean, I would think you would know better. I mean, this is different than being born a little scalier with a different color skin. This is evil seeping into your soul for all eternity.
He hasn't done anything yet.
Byron sort of leans down slightly. Tave looks super skinny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you fed?
He like
And there's like a withering gaze for Byron.
he sort of looks up at Byron like kind of dumbfounded, like no, kind of not expecting the question. He sort of like looks to the side as though he's gonna lie, and then he kind of sighs. They made me.
He just kind of straightens back up again.
Do I believe that he was forced?
It's a check.
I'm just going to insight, and I've got a 16, but Byron is like just basically taking that into advisement when it comes to his like studies. He's not so much making a moral check of the guy.
Right. Cool.
27.
He looked like he was about to lie and then resigned to tell the truth. You don't think any part of what he said was falsehood?
This was forced upon him, not his choice.
Tavy nods.
It's not as if he sought this evil out for himself.
So be it. So what, you're gonna keep him in a cage, make sure he doesn't eat anybody? While you figure out a way to cure vampirism?
Not a cage, perhaps.
I'm sure
But
we can
definitely.
I'm sure we can make it very comfortable.
What if he turns into a mist, flies out the window?
I think perhaps I am too close to the situation and shouldn't. I shouldn't have a say. I'm sorry, Octavius.
Well, that's where I disagree, because whatever decision we make, I'm not going to have you hating us for the rest of our lives. This is your family.
But I can't choose anything other than to save him. And I don't want you guys to put anyone or ourselves in danger because of me.
You're talking about this like it's a vote, Elaine says. I can't just walk away from this.
Well, if you make a
can and you
decision
will.
for us, you'll be fighting us, so you better cool your heels.
I'm sorry, but if you don't choose the right way, then I have to. Even if it means my own life. Chat looks down at Octavius and like forces a look of disgust onto her face. It's the way it is.
The Pale Guard not ever worked with the Halls to study their enemy.
No.
Perhaps it is time for a Hall to stretch the olive branch. And he like one gloved hand like comes out towards her. When you want to know your foe better,
She like thinks for a moment. Go ahead and make me a persuasion check.
I am fucking terrible at those.
Yeah, but let's have another crit.
Oh, not so much a crit. That's a 13. I'm afraid.
She stares at your hand for a moment, and then her eyes flick back up to you. She shakes her head. My entire life has been devoted to ridding the world of his kind. I'm not just going to stop now because he happens to be someone that you care about.
Isn't your Pale Guard also infiltrated and corrupt? I mean, maybe the reason you guys haven't done any research into breaking this curse is because someone within your organization doesn't want you to.
Pale God's been around longer than the corruption has, and it started
Are
as a
you
way
sure?
to. She her eyes widen, like, "What did you just say?" sort of thing.
Say, are you sure? How do you know how long your members have been compromised? The thing that we think that has corrupted your organization has been around for centuries. How do you know? How do you know?
She takes like an angry step towards you, and Arthas just kind of tenses and like puts his shoulder in front of yours, and she's sort of like, she comes up to get like more in your face, and she says, Pale God has been around, and her teeth are like gritted. She's furious. Longer. She doesn't know really what to say. She says, the Pale God was started to rid the world of this kind of monster.
And if you had done your job the first time, my father wouldn't have been alive to have this happen. You missed him the first time.
Yeah, we did. And now I'm going to make sure that we don't miss any more. Pan kind of goes to his side.
Well, then why don't you worry about the one that got away instead of my brother?
I'm looking at the one that got away.
No, the woman. There was another one.
Yeah. She's next. I can't just walk away.
We asked for your help. I asked for your help.
This is what you asked for.
No, this is not what I asked for.
That's what you've got. You can tell, like, without an insight check, like, she's made up her mind now.
All right, I'm only going to say this once. And then if we got to fight, we fight. Elaine, I think you're right. Elle, you going to watch him suffer? For how long while you wait to find a cure? Your brother is sick, and it's family that makes the decision when it's time to go sometimes. But I'll protect him if that's what you want.
I'll draw my swords.
Elaine draws hers.
Alishan will kind of like look down at the ground at that and just kind of it's kind of a hard decision to make, asking her friends to stand up against another friend for this kind of thing.
Octavius like sort of chokes, like he's watching his sister decide whether or not she's going to let someone kill him. And he just says, Alishan, what he's... And he like cuts himself off. He just can't get the words out.
Elaine, please see reason. A ranking member of the halls has offered to help you learn more about your enemy. How many lives can that save? We're not going to let this creature free. He will be the subject of research. Research that could prove valuable if there is a cure to be found, or possible weaknesses, things that you and your fellow Pale Guard could use.
How would you find that out? You'd have to.
Not now.
You would try it out on him, though,
now.
right?
This is not the time for those questions.
This is exactly the time for those questions.
Thank you, Remy. If I'm to make this kind of decision, yes, it's as Remy put it, it will be torture for him. I remember whenever you guys were trying to test. I'm not trying to argue. I'm just.
I know.
It might not be something I want for him.
I understand that, and that's a choice we can make. You know full well the potential consequences of agreeing to this research. But right now, we have to diffuse this situation. It doesn't need to end in bloodshed.
Rose,
It's going to either way.
Elaine says, you've known me my whole life. You know that I'm not going to walk away. I'm not going to waver. In a few moments, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to try and kill that vampire. And either you're going to let me or you're going to kill me. Because I'm not stopping until it's dead.
I am begging you.
Enough. I don't want to hear it.
Remy interposes himself.
So does Arthur's, just behind you.
Elishan kind of like covers her face with like her hands and is just kind of like trying to like think logically through this, and it's not a situation where she can. Octavius.
He looks up at her and he's just terrified.
I don't know what to do.
I'm your brother.
I know. That's why I don't know what to do. It's like they're asking me to decide. I just killed my father, not but 5 minutes ago, and now they're asking me to decide whether or not I have to kill you too. And it's not fair. But if I say no, then my friends are going to fight this woman, and either she'll die or my friends will probably kick her ass. But it's still, it's not something I can decide.
But he doesn't say anything else. He starts crawling slightly backwards away from Elaine. Arthur's kind of turns to you, Elishan, shakes his head. You can't just kill him.
I don't know what to do. She's got like, you know, the tears and the eyes and all that other. Byron.
Yes? He says a little exasperatedly, like he's standing in between this.
You're the only one that I could trust that would make this decision rationally. And I know that you care very much for me and everyone, but I don't want you help me. I don't want emotions to be a factor in this. Do you really? I'm not. I need help. I know Rose will help me. I know Arthas would help me, and I know. Do you really think he could be cured? Or is that just something that...
Arthas opens his mouth to say something, but like waits to hear what Byron says first.
So Byron is kind of... Look, I imagine he's slightly... If the two people are... if like Arthas and Remy are facing off against Elaine, and like I imagine him and Rose are like to one side almost, or like Rose is like nearer her, trying to plead with her. And Byron's having this unusual experience of him being like restrained possibly by his position. Like he's just been given a haul, and should he attack a Pale Guard member, like if that got out, and like having to make all of these calculations for things that he's not used to, and then like you call on him. And he like, I don't know if you're like still kind of near the floor or something, near Tavi, and he kind of turns to look down at you and goes, I do not make any promises lightly. I can cure the chaos. I believe I can cure this. Or at least, if no one has ever tried, then make some progress on it. And it's like his mind is going a million miles. He turns to like Rose and Elaine. Tribunal. Rose, you've stood in tribunal before. What if we take this to the Pale Guard? Take it to a council?
You want to lock this creature into the Pale Guard stronghold? They'll just take him and kill him.
No. We have tribunal. We go to the courts. We have members of the Holds. We have members of the Pale Guard. We make our case. Does Elaine have authority to speak for her entire order? If she can refuse the offer that I made here, can she refuse it in official capacity? We've actually managed to capture a vampire alive. These creatures have plagued humanity for hundreds, thousands of years. However long we've been living, we have the opportunity to study one and find answers. I believe someone at the Pale Guard would find that valuable.
As Byron is talking, Octavius begins to stand up, like really slowly. And Elaine opens her mouth to speak, but Octavius interrupts her, kind of, I imagine, causing everyone to like spin to look at him. And he says, "You're talking about my life as though it's a decision that you should have. Apparently it's your decision whether I live or die." And then he looks like directly into your eyes, Al, and he says, "And apparently family means nothing."
That's not...
Like begin to bear, and he's going to shape change into a mist form.
Fucking knew it.
I'm going to click my fingers and force wall box him in.
So, awesome.
So he's trapped in a box for 10 minutes at least.
I think it's an hour.
An hour? Maybe.
How close was Elishan when you did the force cage?
If you were right next to him, you probably would be in the box.
Yeah.
Or maybe if you want. It's 10 minutes.
It's just up to Rob and how he imagined
you're in
how
it.
close. Okay, dope.
If you want to be, you can be.
I
It's
didn't
fine.
want to be, but yeah, that's cool.
The mist does
Cage
nothing then.
match.
And Elaine just says, I can't let this. The Pale God isn't. I can't let him leave this place alive.
Well, technically not alive.
I imagine she would have found that quite funny if it weren't in this situation.
Remy's just trying to cut the tension.
I think he's made our choice for us. I do not think he would willingly submit to any cure research that we may need to do. Because I can guarantee you it will be messy and it will be torture.
I asked the man point blank if he would like to live as a vampire, and he said yes. Answers my question for me.
He is a coward.
He's gonna turn back into human form and start advancing. Like he's gonna round on Elishan. And he looks kind of scary now. And he kind of like steps slightly too close. And you can kind of smell like there's a stale kind of iron smell in his breath. And he says, if it had been you, I would have fought every single one of these people to keep you alive. But you couldn't make that decision. And he's just getting like closer and closer. And his fangs are like out.
I did.
The roll initiative?
If he's being threatening, the box just drops. And then, unless you wanted to say something to him. But the fingers are ready to drop that box. At least.
I could probably get out of it.
I'm gonna, ready my holy symbol.
I'm waiting on you to act then. It's about... He's ready to go unless you do something.
Yeah, because he's kind of advancing on Elishan. She would just kind of like look at him kind of helplessly, and it's like the only way that you would have been able to live is if, you know, that we worked on the cure, and that wouldn't have been pleasant for you. So it wasn't an easy decision, Octavius. You have to understand.
Oh, I understand. I understand that apparently that's your decision.
It not by my choice. They.
All right. I think we're going to do initiative here.
Sweet.
Oh,
she did.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's
Balls.
the crit from a boy.
Oh.
I got a 2. Elishan's kind of like scrambling backwards, all like, oh, da, 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 da. So that's a 6.
Bollocks.
I got 16.
Shit, I should have something to write this down, shouldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Just Byron was going to have to drop the box and do something else to him to keep him hit there. But I wanted you to that you could get out or do something. So.
Okay.
And she's still trying to talk sense, but yeah, I could have thunderstepped out.
I don't think you can thunderstep out.
I have to make a Christmas saving throw, but I'm a bard,
right.
so
Yeah, you'll be fine.
my Christmas saving throw is like a +10 right now. So as long as I rolled above an 8, I would have been.
What did Byron get, sorry?
16.
You can decide who goes first, you or Al.
I'll hold it one beat longer because I see her. I presume we can hear. I think you can hear through the force cage, force wall. So he's just like the finger is out or something to dispel it, and he's just waiting, like hyper focused on this situation.
Okay.
ready to drop it.
He
If he attacks, I might drop it first. But
yeah, he's gonna attack.
shit.
So first he's gonna make an unarmed strike.
Dope.
Which is going to be a 25 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Pretty good.
Yeah, okay. And now I need... and he's going to grapple you. So he's not going to do damage. So he's basically... Imagine he's grabbed you by the throat at this point and is kind of lifting you with that weird skinny vampire strength.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to bite you.
Cool.
Oh, beautiful. 24 to hit.
I'm going to try and cutting words that. So as he grabs Elishan and lifts her up, she's just going to... Oh, it's a D12. I need a D12. Kind of look at him imploringly and just be like, Octavius, please, don't. And it's going to be a -8. So that makes it... You said 24?
Yeah, 16.
Oh, it still hits.
Oh, no.
Beautiful.
You're a waning armor class.
So he says, maybe you'd feel different if we were in the same boat. And then Rob rolls a bunch of D6s.
Remy tried to warn you.
It's okay.
Killed you with one thing, and now you've got something else.
Okay, so you're going to...
Now we're going to have to kill Elishan. Great.
8 piercing damage. And... Oh, nice. 14 necrotic damage.
That 14 is permanent at this point, right? Or is it not for him?
No, he gains hit points
Okay.
for that
So-
if he had any. Well, he probably did, but yeah, whatever.
14
Oh,
and
no,
8
yeah.
total?
You can't get it back. So
Okay. So So you said how much again? I'm sorry.
8 piercing, 14 necrotic that can't be healed.
Okay.
And sugar. People.
Do you want me to go first, or you? Narratively, how do you feel this goes down?
I think yeah, as he kind of I'll go if that's all right.
Yeah.
And so as he bites into her neck and starts eating her, Elishan is going to do the same thing that she did to Alorn whenever he tried to grab her and do the same thing. And she'll kind of concentrate for a moment and she'll just slip out of his arms and kind of fall to the ground and covering her bitten neck as freedom of movement is still up. And then she's going to cast Thunderstep and attempt to get out of the force cage.
Nice.
And so,
Is it a bonus action?
Thunderstep is an action, I believe.
But using the
Freedom of movement
is a
was
bonus
up
action.
from last time, and it only takes 5 feet of movement to escape a grapple.
Sweet.
Yep.
Well, first I'm going to try my charisma saving throw to get out of this force cage. And I'm going to roll. Yeah, that's good. That's
It is
11.
force. It's not force cage. But...
It's Wall of Force.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
Wall
he
of Force.
did.
Then. It's
I
got
said
specific
force
rules
cage
about it.
once and wall of force 4 times because I
Sorry.
Wait, what is it? Which one?
wall of
So
force.
can I
Wall of
escape Wall of
Force,
Force then?
I don't. I'm just getting it up again because I was just looking at the next spell that.
Ooh, I hope not.
Wall of force.
Nothing can physically pass through the wall. It is immune to all damage and can't be dispelled. The disintegrate spell destroys it. Yeah, I don't think you can teleport out.
It just says it blocks ethereal travel through the wall, but force cage actually specifically says that if you attempt to, you cannot leave.
Cage.
Right. So I've looked up this.
She is
That was, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't hear any of that.
It says wall of force says nothing can physically pass through the wall, but she is teleporting.
But that includes magic, according to stuff that I've read online.
Okay.
But then Force Cage has a text that specifically says if you try to teleport out of it, you have to make a charisma save.
I'm looking up the answer right now.
Sure. But I'm not using cage.
Yeah. Out of well, I'm also Googling. Force Wall does not block teleportation.
Bearing in mind I'm going to drop it on my turn anyway, and we're going at the same
Yeah.
initiative, so I could be dropping it as you teleport away from him.
Yeah, cool,
Well-
cool.
Well, either way, then I cast Thunderstep to get away. And so Octavius is going to take 2d10 thunder damage.
Does he get a save?
Making me look up all of my spells. God damn it.
I'm pretty sure if you're not attacking him, then it must be a save.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's con save.
Yeah, con save.
Well, he failed, so legendary resistance.
Legendary resistance. He's like a brand new baby spawn.
Is he?
So
Exactly.
half of 9. Half of 9.
Awesome.
So that was some of my movement. I'm gonna I'm gonna say that I teleported like out, and then yeah, that's my go.
Cool. So you reappear somewhere outside.
Yeah.
Byron then.
Byron turns to, well, he's already looking at the situation, but turns to look at the vampiric Tavi and hopes to catch his eye in some way. And as he like clicks and the force wall goes down, he goes, "I really wish you would have just let me save you," in like a very calm voice. And then I'm going to cast Mental Prison on him. 6th level. So he has to make an int save on DC 18. This is if vampires are immune. Are there vampires immune to being charmed? Would I know that? I don't think we know that much about vampires.
They're not immune to charm.
They're not.
Okay.
But he rolled a 16 plus 3.
Oh. Well, that's a shame. Then it does. On a failed save, the target takes 5d10 psychic damage. Oh no! If you, on a successful save, I still do the 5d10 damage. You aren't just affected by the crazy ass illusions that were going to hurt you incredibly and stop you from moving. So, still take a blast of damage. That's a 10. That's an 8. That's an 8. That's a 2 and a 6. And so 10, 8, 8, 2, 6. Oh, I think I got one more. Nope, I don't. 16, 24.
So
34 damage.
Yeah.
Psychic damage.
Nice.
Can someone get me inside that cage with them?
It's gone.
Okay, just
Okay, never
I
mind.
took it down.
And Remy is holding a big old halberd. Rose.
Rose will look at him and say, "You probably should run, you coward," and channel divinity.
Oh, you're gonna release him into the wilds.
No, we're going to hunt him. It's going to be fun. Don't worry, we got this.
Oh god.
God.
You had such a flip, Rose. Oh my god.
Rose has started wearing black holy symbols.
We must save him. He must die.
This is the part of Rose that punched that guy in the face.
We should.
This
just
Rose
look
has like
her.
Marilyn Manson posters up now and is like going through a bit of a teenager phase.
It is a wisdom save.
Oh, wisdom save. I failed that one, so legendary resistance.
Asshole.
Doesn't he also have turn resistance?
No, he's a vampire, mate.
I thought some powerful undead have turn resistance, but
I mean, I'm assuming like Strad probably does, but
right.
yeah, he doesn't.
Okay.
All right, is that your turn then, Rose?
Let's do Sacred Flame.
Dex save.
Yeah.
24.
Bastard. And then Krina's gonna go and hack at him twice.
Here's where it all falls apart for him.
Yeah.
2 paladin starts coming up and smiting him. Yeah.
Okay.
That is going to be a 31 to hit on his first one.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still using a meat cleaver?
Mhm.
Scrappy
badass
little looking guy with a meat cleaver.
Right?
Hacking down vampires.
Yeah, I can't see how Octavius is the bad guy here.
Listen. Let's drop some smite into that. Let's drop a 4th level. Why not?
Damn.
It's gonna have bonus because he's got improved smite and it's an undead. Oh boy, all the d8s.
Right?
Yeah, it's 68 on top of his regular weapon damage.
Man, like Remy could
Mhm.
basically one-shot this guy anyway. Like, that's
Well, it'll
fine.
be like 5 shot, but yeah.
For you, nah, you can almost one-shot him. Like if you got like 4 crits out of your like.
Well, that's what I'm
million
saying. It
rolls.
would be multiple attacks.
Yeah, but I mean like in a round.
Yeah.
40 points of damage on his first hit.
On his first hit. Nice.
His second is only a 19 to hit.
How much damage was that? Sorry?
A 19 does hit.
40.
40. No.
For an additional 12 points of damage.
Dope. Okay. Oh, that makes my maths very easy. Right. Oops, that's wrong. Okay. So, he's going to use the legendary action to move his speed away from Kreen at the end of Kreen's turn, without provoking opportunity attacks. And then it is Remy's go.
Can I get to him?
So he's just moved. Where's his movement? Yeah, so he's just moved 30 feet away from where he was. And I guess you were like 5 to 10 feet away.
So, no, not this round.
No, probably not this round.
Okay. Is there an exit that he's probably moving towards?
I mean, you guys are outside.
You are
Oh, we're
using a reach
outside.
weapon.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, if you go with the halberd, I'll say you can hit him.
Yeah. Okay. Why not?
Okay.
Change it up. Well, it's a dex weapon, so my attack rolls are going to be shite, but whatever.
Strength weapon.
That's what I mean, though.
Yeah. It's a +1 halberd.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, what does that give me? That gives me she's +5, so +8 to hit, and I get 3 attacks.
You can do it, Remy.
Yeah. We're outside. He can just fly away like at any time. I really need some flying shoes or something. Yeah, halberd's already out, so just for the fuck of it, 3 attacks with the halberd. This is not going to go well. That's a 23 a 19, and a 11.
Hits ×3.
Hey, I'm
Oh,
back.
no, actually, sorry. I didn't listen to the last one. Hits ×2.
Okay, I'll take it. What is the halberd? A D10?
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Okay. So it's just
Plus
2d10. 2d10 plus 1. Oh, that's not bad. That's 18, 19, 20, 24 points of damage.
Nice. The wounds you cut on him do not bleed because he's a vampire, but they look extra. Oh man, I really wish. Yeah, I really wish vampires had blood. No. Yeah, you reckon that there's like some kind of anticoagulant style enchantment on this. Okay, at the end of your turn, he's going to take a legendary action to move 30 feet away from you without provoking an opportunity attack.
Okay.
Then it is Elaine's go. And she uses sword. And I don't think she has any spells that will help her. So she's going to dash so that she's about 10 feet away from him, because she was kind of at the other side of the little standoff. She's just going to like sprint after him, just screaming, like for him to come back and calling him a coward and stuff. And then at the end of her turn, he's going to move his speed away from her without provoking opportunity attacks. You've just seen him like his turn is like he suddenly just moves so fast, like the kind of nighttime shadows are sort of like rolling off him, and he just is able to just put on bursts of speed that you could never have imagined. Arthas is gonna turn into an eagle, and he's gonna take flight and basically try and keep up with.
Pick me up! Pick me up! Pick me up!
He's gonna fly down and pick up Remy.
Yes.
On his way past.
Remy's a little bit in love with Arthas right now, probably more than he ever has been.
Yeah. So he turns into a giant eagle then, probably. And yeah, just like claws around your arms.
Sweet.
And Octavius is going to I think.
That was 3 legendary actions, right?
Yeah, but he gets them back now.
Oh yeah, because top of the round.
Because of vampire. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. Yeah,
she's around. She's quick.
I'm not sure she was in, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure she's in Elaine's group. If she is, then I'll add her to it. Okay.
Willow was. What, wasn't she?
Oh, it was Willow. I was thinking of, yeah. Okay.
I mean, she could be anywhere, but she might be able to actually have a hope of chasing.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, he has just run 120 feet, so I need to see how fast she can run.
I don't think she was necessarily close, maybe, but she is quick and could probably beat most of us with all the dashings.
Yeah, I have her thingy here in the folder. I wasn't being prepared for this situation. I thought you guys were pretty swell people, but it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. So she.
Is it daylight out right now?
No.
Why did we do this at night?
Because it was fucking badass.
I don't think. Didn't we go deliberately during the day?
We did, but it's foggy.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. It's there's like, if any of you have seen
Preternatural fog,
Dracula Untold, where he just makes a fucking giant cloud and turns all Transylvania into nighttime, something like that. I described it as.
He does. It didn't go away when we killed the head vampire.
It usually takes a few days.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah. So she can dash as a bonus, dash as an action, and run, which is 120 feet. So she can keep up with him. Because Vela is fucking rapid. So yeah, she's gonna do that then. So you see, like this ungodly burst of speed from Octavius, and then there's ungodlier burst of speed from Vela as she just easily keeps pace with him. And she just kind of sprints, like almost like she's using the shadows that he's created as like or as footholds to like kick off. Willow's just gonna fucking unload a crossbow bolt into him. And she's gonna run 30 feet and fire a fucking. She's gonna miss as well. Oh, she sucks.
That's a horrible thing to say.
Sorry, Rose, but she hasn't been leveling with you guys. She's not like a 13th level fighter or whatever the fuck it is.
I mean, she's been helping me train Crean.
I mean, yeah, but Crean's not better than her. Okay, so now it's Octavius' turn. He is going to run another 30 feet away from Vela, so she'll be able to catch up with him easily next turn. And then he's going to go into mist form once again, and is going to start flying upwards when he's able to. Elishan and Byron.
So he's moved and turned into a mist.
Yep.
Do I have any idea how to fight a vampire mist, or can I shout at Elaine? Do you have any solutions?
Make a check, Arcana.
25.
You once read in a book that vampires, when they go all misty, they can't be hurt by physical means.
Still vulnerable to magic, potentially.
Potentially.
Okay.
And I mean, by that, I'm legally obligated to tell you yes.
Okay. He'll probably be using some magic to test that theorem out.
One would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he's immune to like physical, non-magical physical damage now. So against a fucking big old pie like you guys, it's basically means dick.
At least his fly speed is slower in the mist form than his running speed.
That's true.
You want to go?
I need to get within 60 feet of him. And he's 120 feet away?
No, he's 150 feet away now.
Why isn't mentioned or a bonus action? You go ahead, Dan. I'm trying to figure out what to do.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have one more opportunity to hit him, unless you were going to dimension door with me further closer. Which
I could.
So, just suggesting it, but I can throw out the Hail Mary right now. So I can move 30 feet to get within 120 feet of this guy.
Yep.
Right. I'm just going to say for purposes that it is relatively close to where Elishan is. And I'm going to turn to her and goes, I'm really very sorry. And then while he's like looking at you, you see his hand outstretched towards, the disappearing characters, and his hand twists, and as it twists, it lights up in blue flame. And he goes, Mick. And it fires a single spell attack against him. Oh, I rolled a 19 again. So that's 29 to hit him.
Yeah, boy.
And
I'm mad because you're killing a vampire, but I'm happy that you're doing it in a badass way.
He then, this is one of these crazy spells, rolls 4d100.
Jesus.
Damage.
What?
Yeah.
It's like a 8th level spell or something, right?
Yes, it is my 8th level, and the first time I've cast an 8th level.
please just roll 4 ones. That's all I ever wanted when I made that spell. I was like, please just roll 4 ones.
Yeah.
Just do less than 10 damage and burn your 8th level. I love
4 to 400 damage. That's quite a spread.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
this
why I
is
love
the
it.
conversation I had with him, but it is an 8th level. It would be a
You
gamble.
need at least Disintegrate has like the plus 40 on it.
What kind of is fire damage?
It's blue flame.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
mean, it's
damage.
It's like arcane damage, basically, is how I would phrase it. So, like, if something has resistance to fire, it wouldn't have resistance to this.
So nothing has resistance to this.
Pretty much.
And
Just burning magical neural pathways.
Yeah, it's not like actual fire. It's just like raw magic.
I rolled quite well. So let me just get the calculator for a second.
I rolled quite well.
I don't. It's yeah.
The numbers are too big.
This number is pretty large.
Whoa. I want to hear it too.
275.
Oh,
I rolled a 92 on the last one.
Wow.
So Byron just stretches out his hand and fires this bolt of.
I imagine it's
blue
some
flame.
Dragon Ball Z shit, like the land
No,
is
I
crumbling.
did actually have a little description thing. Like,
Okay.
It's not box text or anything, but it's so it flies and it looks like a fire bolt, only blue, like a small one. And in midair, it sort of like grows a size to a fireball, and then grows another size, and then grows another size until it's this just streaking arc of light that blinds you as you look at it, and like burns the retinas in your eyes as it just crashes with a sound like 1,000 drums and just evaporates the mist, and out from beneath it drops. Actually, no. Well, he's a vampire, but yeah. So it just eviscerates and evaporates him. But I mean, all it really does is turn him into a cloud of mist. But goddamn.
And so there's a shot as he's still standing there next to her, and they're both bathed in this blue glow. I imagine as the fog is like burning off or something, and the light soars in, and then the hand goes down, and he kind of adjusts his glove a little bit.
Yeah, Byron is like, his whole arm is smoking slightly.
Jesus Christ.
So the mist is still there. It's just
Yeah.
a mist with less hit points.
It's a mist with 0 hit points.
Right.
Because he's dropped to 0. So now I guess he has to go back to the castle. But yeah.
Well, if it's my turn, I'll try to kill the mist.
I mean, so yeah, in mechanics, he's dead.
Right.
So when he reaches mist form, or when he dies or gets 0 hit points, he turns into a mist and then has to go home. But it doesn't actually say what happens if you hit him. So, I mean...
Well, you assume the mist form stuff, right? So he can still be hit by non-magical damage. So basically,
You're just going to make him fail his saves. The other thing, though, is that I would say is that that 275 damage is actually enough to go past his max hit points.
That's true.
To the other side.
Did he have a proper crypt set up for him or whatever for him to return to, or if he was a prisoner?
No.
Okay.
I know, though.
So you said you did 297?
275.
75. That might not... So you're supposed to... In order to kill him without any death saves, you would have... Assuming he has the monster manual statistics.
Yes, I do. So to kill him without any saves, he would have to go to minus 144. And he had 40 hit points left exactly, which would mean that he just took 235 damage below 0.
I thought the rule was that you had to do double his hit point maximum. No?
No,
It's
it's
just
just
negative.
It's
Yeah.
a
It's
negative
negative.
hit
Bring
point
him down
maximum.
to.
So
Okay.
yeah,
like because Elishan, like very first integration of Elishan 1.1 at level 1 was nearly killed by a wolf that
Right.
took her down to -7, and she had 9 hit points.
Got it.
So it was almost permadeath on my very first session.
Right. Okay. So yeah, no mist.
yeah. So the mist just burns away. I'll say for drama's sake that the smoking corpse of Octavius is there for a second, and it's like right in front of you, and then just like turns to dust.
It could be a shadow, like a silhouette in the blue flame.
Oh,
And it vaporizes.
That's much doper. Let's do that. You just killed your entire family, Elisha.
Yeah.
The new one.
And it's going to make the family reunions a lot easier to organize.
Just like to say, for honesty's sake, I had planned on you guys fucking ganging up and killing Elaine and just being like, we'll figure something out with. So it's not my fault. That's all I'm saying. Do we want to take a quick break?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
In memoriam.
Moment of silence.
Yeah.
Fucking ass.
I'm just-
anymore there.
For
One little
Octavius,
NPC for me to worry
Uriah,
about.
Montgomery, Rutherford, or whatever his fucking name was. Augustus. There was an Augustus in there somewhere.
Sorry for fucking up your next one-shot plans. Because he's in them.
Well, different dimension or whatever.
Maybe.
Yeah, and that one he definitely alternate universe. Whatevs.
I'm just gonna say that I hope you like. I know you think Byron is unfeeling, but he wasn't going to go like torturing your brother. He was going to attempt to like gain possession of him as an experiment, and then look for a cure and like feed them some information to keep them happy. He wasn't aiming to torture them.
I'm just saying.
Which was nice that Rose like stuck up for the plan before me.
No, I know. It's just like Elishan was on like the other end of that at one point, and it wasn't entirely pleasant. So she had to consider that. And like whenever you guys were like throwing out like the offer of like, well, you'll know your enemy better and things, you'll have like, be able to make better weapons against them. You would have to test that out. Test those theories out. Like that part of it would have
I mean,
like it basically would have been, oh, happy accident. We discovered that like fucking, dipping your weapons in garlic really fucks up Vampire's day. Like that would have happened at some point for you
There's ways to do that without like ruining his life.
Yeah. It would have been.
Yeah, I would
try to do it in the most humane way.
Yeah. It basically would have been, oh, well, that's an interesting side effect, and let me make a note of that later for a pale guard. That shit really hurts.
I would just like it known that my opinion of Elishan has fallen greatly after this encounter because there's no decision there for me. I'm just thinking about it from my like, if that was my brother, not a fucking chance.
Well, there is like the thing though that like, there is the argument to be made that Elaine was making is that he was already dead, which she has to consider, and then there's also the fact that even if like they were going to work on a cure, Remy was right that it was going to be like a horrendous existence for him until then. So
not necessarily.
It's like,
I mean,
not necessarily. She doesn't know that. To her, it's like kind of he was on life support, and you guys were asking her whether or not she wanted to pull the plug, and that's not an easy decision for anyone to make.
No, it's not. And Byron wasn't quite weighed down by all of those as you might expect, but he promised he was going to try and help.
Yeah,
and he never promised it was going to be easy or that pleasant. So it didn't really have concern there. He was always going to try and cure that guy, and he was the one who tried to persuade Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, I was just going to make Octavius live like the, Gru existence. Or not Gru, what's his fucking name? The guy from Hotel Transylvania. Anyway, I was just going to make him be like, I think it's sort of trying to figure out like you know, how to live with it without, you know,
Sure.
being a monster. But I guess we'll never know.
Well, all I'm saying is that you can have your low opinion of Elishan, but for her, that was basically like, you know,
she's gonna get
her
some
brother had like
shitty-ass
some.
magic items from now on.
Oh, you
They're
mean
all
like the
gonna be
magic
vampire
items that
based.
I've never gotten? Like those?
Don't we talk about goodbye? I'll go to
You want a magic halberd?
I'm gonna be right back.
That was fun. Yes.
You probably need to kill Relishan really quickly before Elaine rounds on her. She'd get bitten. Maybe
that's
in the
it.
early stages you can heal it with the restoration.
I mean, we're probably gonna have to figure that one out.
I think you have to be brought to 0 hit points to actually get turned.
Sure, but Elaine seems a little trigger happy.
Sure.
But I was like looking at the thing. Like Byron doesn't have like any of the suggesty type spells, so I couldn't like make Elaine go away. And then there was also like I can't. Byron was actually thinking I can't just attack this pale guard. She's from an institution, and now I have like a reputation. So I didn't want to murder her either.
Oh.
I briefly toyed with the idea of Rose essentially saying, "We now have the throne of Balern and the Northern Borderlands. We expel you and all Pale Guard from all of our."
Oh, we are
Would have been a bold move. That might have been the
been
thing
dope.
that made Remy leave. Like, nope, don't want to rule. Leaving, goodbye.
But I will say Arthas as well. Big time not happy with Elshan. He's not going to say anything because, you know, traumatic time. But yeah, like you said, like he is very much like, give him a chance, you know.
I mean, we were giving him a chance until he bit her.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was a sort of whim decision for me. But I think like, you know, whenever you watch a film or whatever, which is basically, you know, a lot of what my role playing is based on, is like you can only watch people try and discuss whether or not to kill you for so long before you're like, holy shit, they're still thinking about I got to get out.
But at the end of the day, he decided to kill his sister rather than die.
He actually was trying to make her a vamp so that they could like be vamp bros together.
Yeah,
but it illustrates an incredibly low lack of low amount of character.
Yeah, I mean, dude is pretty selfish and pretty cowardly from what C's told me. So, but
when he was like, "I'm not like yours to debate or whatever," I so wanted Byron just like to turn to him and go, "Actually, you are. Sit down," kind of thing. I had that on my tongue. I was just ready to go.
Oh, he's so good. But yeah, that was not at all how I saw it going. But because you know, you guys are like this fucking super friends. You know, just like, oh, you're a hideous monstrosity. Come live our keep. But I
mean, Remy has never been down for that.
That's true. No, I think everyone
was like, a bloody criminal dwarf, not here.
Yeah, right.
Scoot off.
But no, I think everyone pretty much nailed it with like, you know, thinking through what their characters would do and say in that situation. I'm very pleased with that scene. I like it a lot.
I'm good.
You too.
It was not how I was expecting it to go. So kudos everyone, but you know, let's go explore the castle or something now.
Yeah, ominous black door. Woo!
Right, yeah, that's where we're on our way to, right?
Yeah, we were just like, hey guys, this is ominous black. Oh shit. Stuff's going down.
Alright. So we'll skip ahead through some of the admin.
Is she back?
And like is she not?
I don't know.
I just assume when I sit down, everyone's ready to play. But no, I think yeah, I was just gonna say we'll like skip through a lot of the sort of like awkward silence and you know
But that's
Healing
the best
up.
part.
Healing up her. Yeah. Okay. Let's do an awkward silence for 10 minutes in real time. Ready, go.
That's Remy farting.
How far through the awkward silence? Literally 30 seconds.
Remy just has a nose for these kind of things. He's like, this one's going to be awkward. Let me just sort that out real quick.
Cut that tension.
Everybody needs a Remy.
True.
It's like everyone needs an insult.
Watch your back. Someone to insult you.
Yeah. Someone to watch your back. Someone to make sure you don't get too high an opinion of yourself.
Right.
And someone to just second guess all your decisions about bringing people into your home.
I mean, someone to react when you do 275 damage to someone. He was the only one. Like, everyone else was just stuck silent. He was like, "Good God!"
I kind of love that everyone was just like, "Yep, that's Byron. Oh well." Of course, he can just fire a fucking Death Star laser.
So I realized that Remy says Jesus Christ is a reaction to things a lot.
Yeah,
and
I just like.
Who's Jesus Christ? And I figured Jesus Christ is some like asshole halfling he knows. He turned his name into
Jesus Christo.
Yeah, he's a halfling folk hero.
Sure.
I think most of the time I note that down. When you say Jesus Christ, I change it to something like good gods that like makes sense for the setting. But
yeah,
I
think is always gods.
Gods.
Yeah.
I think the Jesus Christ that Remy knows is just like just some guy from his village whose name he turned into an exclamation.
All right, Black Hells. That's another one. A lot of my characters say. Fuck, there was something else as well. By the Stones was like a dwarven one. Oh no, was it a dwarven one or was it like a? No, I think it was like in reference to the chimes. They're like planar menhers.
It's not a reference to like grabbing someone by their testicles.
Oh yeah, that's better actually.
Yeah, when you watch like Rome or something or Spartacus, it's always like by Jupiter's cock, by the balls of whatever Saturn.
By the balls of Saturn.
Something like that.
I'm gonna start saying that in real life. Just drop a piece of paper by the balls of Saturn. What?
Really dramatically.
Just like get up on a table.
Well, I hope there's not too much behind this door because I don't have many spells left, having blown a lot of them.
Good.
I'm back.
Fucking finally.
Fuck you.
I actually did start going, and then Dan was like, C's not back. So.
Thanks, Dan.
We just did an awkward silence in real time.
My pleasure.
Okay, so there's like, you guys all sort of regroup. Imagine no one's really saying anything.
Remy will say to Elishan,
I know that was hard, but I think it's for the best.
There's kind of like this numb, shell-shocked look on her face. But she just kind of nods a bit, so more to let you know that she heard you rather than any type of real response.
Elaine turns to Rose and just says, I'm leaving. I have to go get that other one. And then she just turns and begins walking away.
We're even now, by the way.
You don't get a response. So.
Right, well, we found
probably good we didn't kill her.
Sorry, were you saying something?
I like the idea that you're like, probably good, we shouldn't kill her. And Brian was like, so there was this door.
Yeah, the door. It was very intriguing.
Just like, remember your dad? He's the one who made you kill your own brother. Yeah, his house has this door in it. Yeah, so you guys kind of numbly head back towards the room. And
Someone is totally like steering Elishan,
mhm.
probably.
Yeah,
Can you do this? You need a break? It would be understandable. Arthas could take you home. We could do this without you.
No, I should finish things, I guess.
Insight check, Elishan.
Yeah, sure. While you're rolling that, Arthas isn't saying anything. He's just sort of walking next to Elishan, looking straight ahead.
Fine, bear with me.
It's a 26.
Well, with my 11, I assume she's on the up and up.
You don't know if I use persuasion or deception, though, so.
True.
I expect a PM with the answer because I want to know. So, yeah, you guys head back towards the door. It's locked.
Okay. And Byron would say it's unnecessary for you to travel into the either of the side doors. Nothing but death there. And so what's the locking mechanism on this door? Is it just like a big lock? Or
Yeah, it looks like a big old lock that needs a big old key.
Right.
You saw a key on the like desk in the main kind of drawing room that you reckon probably fits, and you can go retrieve it.
Okay. Mage hand or Milton or something.
Yeah, it just shows up. Yeah, the key fits, the door swings open. Beyond it is a dark set of ominous-looking stairs that kind of spiral down away from the light. And it appears that there's no actual like torches or any source of light down here. It just looks pitch black.
Anybody got a light?
Elishan will
I do.
kind of automatically pull out the crystal necklace that she wears and
Actually, does everybody have dark vision?
she'll
No.
No? Okay.
she'll mutter something and like the necklace will start glowing. Her gem of brightness.
So you continue down the stairs, and it leads into this kind of expansive dark room. At the far end of it is a huge set of iron bars, it looks like. And as you approach, you see it looks to be some kind of prison jail. The rest of the room is pretty much bare. There's a few like smashed old barrels that would once maybe have held wine, but no longer. And to your surprise, there is a figure lying in the cage, facing away from you. She has, the first thing you notice is like, she looks like she's almost wearing like a wedding dress. It's like this really long, flowing white dress. And her skin is extremely pale, and it's almost like reflective in the light of the gem, almost, and it sort of not dazzles you, but it in the kind of weird light, there's this sort of hue around her as though she was glowing, and her hair is like this really vibrant dark red that kind of falls about her head, and she's like curled up, shivering in the dungeon.
Ma'am, are you all right?
She sort of like jumps and spins and like backs away and stares up at you.
She looks vampire-y?
No. She has quite a soft face, and she's like extremely beautiful. Like the sort of beauty that's almost like slightly frightening, like an elf, only less severe and just, well, this sort of strange, kind of ethereal quality. Her skin is, like I said, extremely pale. And as soon as you look at her, you feel this sort of like sad, kind of melancholic sort of feeling rise in your chest, as though your emotions are kind of being, I don't know, kind of drawn out of you and replaced with hers, almost like she is, the force of her emotion is so powerful that you begin to feel how she feels.
Kareen
Is she
uses
j-
divine sense.
What's he looking for? Or how does that?
Trying to sense undead.
He can also
she's-
sense elementals. He's a fiends and celestials.
Yep.
Okay. She's a celestial, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. We'll say yeah. So Kareen just like turns and like tugs on you, and like you sort of bent down, and he just says, and he like nods his head towards her, and he says, "She is like the big man."
Interesting.
I mean, should we let her out?
Can Byron see somewhere for Milton to put the key in, or
Yeah. There's a key, and like, it takes Milton a few seconds to find the right one, but it swings open. And looking up at them, looking up at you, her eyes kind of fix on you, Byron.
Sorry,
And
her eyes fixed on me or something.
yeah, her eyes fix on you, and she like smiles very slightly, and she says, "Thank you." And there's this like kind of weird, like almost glowing feeling in your chest, all of you, but especially you, Byron. And she kind of limps towards the door.
Since she's like having a like we can physically feel her like altering emotions or whatever. Elishon is still kind of numb or whatever, but can still kind of feel that press. And so she's gonna start like humming to herself softly. But everybody that can hear it is gonna be under the effects of counter charm.
Okay. I would just like to say that I don't think I described that very well at the onset. It is not that she's like physically changing your emotions. It's like to behold her, kind of, it's almost like just makes you feel sad. Not like, she's not, as far as you can tell anyway, it's not nothing necessarily like she's trying to make you feel sad. It's just this feeling you get. But
that's okay. But Elishon's
Yeah.
also kind of slightly traumatized, so she's going to try
okay.
it. Counter charm.
Right. And she sort of like looks around at all of you, but her eyes kind of fix on Byron's eyes. She just kind of contemplates you for a moment.
Where are you going?
She frowns at that question. Kind of looks down at the floor. I don't know. Away, I think.
We some place away from him.
That. She sort of draws into herself slightly. Right, looking kind of past you almost. After a moment, she looks back at you. Kind of turns her head very slightly to the side. Thank you.
Byron's still in this sympathetic loop, I guess. Smiles at her. Thanks. Feeling it twofold.
Absolutely, and this sort of like happy feeling kind of grows to overtake the sadness that you first felt. I remember you, she says.
Like slow to react for a moment, and then like there's like a quizzical eyebrow. Pardon?
Yes. Yes, I think it was you. She just kind of turns and starts like walking past all of you. Kind of like not trying to push past you, but she's like walking around the side of you. Quite slowly. She's limping still, remember? Yes. Yes, it was. Byron, you are. Yes?
Yes. He kind of like looks to the people next to him slowly.
Sorry, I was distracted for a moment. She knows Byron,
Yeah.
and she's a
and then-
celestial.
Yeah. And she says, I recognize all of you, but I don't know. You I remember the most.
I'm sorry, you remember us from where?
She doesn't ignore your question, but she doesn't give a straight answer. She says to Byron, my name is Arame. Arame.
Arame.
Yeah. Does Dan remember that name? Because I'm fairly certain Byron would.
Is that the god and the ritual and stuff?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's that discussion we had.
Yes. That was the god that we kind of killed. Something.
Yeah.
With the ritual in the basement. Yeah.
So yeah.
Library.
Yeah. Those people were keeping her alive, weren't they, or something, in essence?
Yeah.
And
So
we disrupted it.
I mean, from what you've read, Arame, she's the goddess of charity and self-sacrifice, and her reign was slowly starting to die out before Orathel fell. But apart from that, there wasn't that much information on her. Apart from that, you realized that the priests in the basement were in fact her subjects.
Mhm. You were the goddess of the civilization long lost.
One of them.
I'm sorry, how could you be a goddess if she's standing right here? I thought gods, like, lived on other places.
You remember those people you killed beneath the library? She turns.
Not really.
She's talking to you. Well, no matter. They were the only things, the only people allowing me to retain my life. When they died, they were my last followers. Now I'm little better than you.
Honey, nobody's better than me.
She smiles at that.
You're leaving something out, though. When your followers died, Evelyn was able to enter this world, the Chaos Queen.
She was.
So clearly, you were somehow keeping her from entering?
My priest's purpose was twofold. One was to keep me alive, and in doing so, that allowed me to both keep them alive and retain my hold on her prison. See, Evelyn, if that's what she's calling herself now, she is more than a goddess. She is a force, and the only way to stop her was to contain it. She can't be killed.
I'm sorry, how did you wind up living in a basement?
I didn't live in the basement. They did. Because it was the only place that...
No, this basement.
She probably would have known that, but I messed that up. So she'd say, when my priests were killed, I fell to the mortal realm, and as she kind of chuckles, as the gods would have it, the place I fell was nearby. When you have no followers, no prayers as a god, it is like having no food and no air. You're weak and your days are numbered. And the state I'm in now, it was easy for Lorne Vessler to capture me at the whim of Evelyn.
So he was working for Evelyn, is what you're saying.
Yes, but you already knew that.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He said that Evelyn wants something from us.
Yeah, so this
Elishan is like, knows full well that Elorn said that Evelyn wanted her and Arthas, but like, yeah, she's not wanting to say that out loud again. So
yeah.
Well, we ain't got any prayers for you, but we got people food if you're hungry.
Elishan was saying that to Arame, though, if she had a response.
I don't think she does. She just sort of inclines her head slightly. No, thank you. I think I will go and die in peace.
Doesn't
Alright.
have to be like that.
She looks around the room. No, I suppose not, but charity for charity's sake is dead, and charity for my sake is also dead.
Byron's like musing this in this semi-darkness, lit by this godly figure as everyone else is conversing with her. He steps forward and like goes to take her hand, and he just says quietly, "I believe in you."
Like that scene in Peter Pan.
Yeah. So, as soon as you touch her, like, there's this, like, almost like an electric shock that just runs through your entire body. It doesn't hurt you, but there is, like, the remnants of primordial power. And she says, "Thank you, Byron. That is kind." And she sort of like stands a little straighter, just sort of pleased by his display. It would be nice to continue living, but there are more important things.
If you said that Evelyn cannot be killed, but you have the power to, or did have the power to stop her, then we give you that power again, and we save our world.
There are far more powerful gods than me. I am all but gone, Byron. The strength it would require to do that again is too much. And I do not wish to live the rest of my life holding her prisoner once again, waiting for the moment when she comes back. Because she will always come back. I can't do this.
His lips purse a little bit, draw thin. There might be stronger gods, but not all of us can so easily talk to them.
She smiles at that.
Stand here before us now. You can stand before many more.
You know, you don't get to choose what you're the god of. It just sort of happens. I suppose in many ways, being who I am means that I'm sort of bound to this life. But there are others who can do similar things, but have the following to achieve them. Maybe I could petition them, maybe I could do it myself, but in this world of maybes, the only thing I've really found to be true is that the end is inevitable.
True words.
That doesn't mean we shouldn't do everything we can in our power to stave off that end. Otherwise we might all end it now.
This is a strange notion. Goddess charity being talked into self-sacrifice. Chat looks down at her hands. It would be nice to live again, she repeats.
Well, the offer is on the table. He smiles and steps back from her. Far be it from me to tell a god what to do. And he grins. More of a smirk, maybe.
Maybe just say I come back. Say I do it all again. I'm not like the other gods. I'm the only one from Orthil left. Your gods are a different breed. Stronger. Smarter. I do not think they would take kindly to my presence. I I'd very much like to be able to hold her back again, but I don't know if I can.
But it's basically what you're telling us here, that in order to stop Evelyn, we need a god.
A few would do.
All right. I mean, if she can't do it,
I'll kind of look up at Byron.
I mean, that's her call, right? Can you tell us how to talk to gods? Which gods? I don't know. Little help. Then you can die.
She can't help but sort of like giggle softly at that. The best way to talk to gods, Remy, is to pray.
I'm a little uncomfortable with that.
I know.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't have to die. I mean, you can just live like a person. You don't even have to save the universe, you know. Yeah, you could just like try being human. I hear it's not too bad.
I'm going to die in a few months anyway. A god cannot live on like this. If I stay alive, the only people who could keep me alive are in this room. Because you are the only ones who know about me.
That's a lot of pressure.
I understand.
For now.
Well, that is the hope, isn't it? For all gods. They think, the mortals, they think that we are great beings above it all, but I suppose maybe they're right in some cases, but we are just a lot slower and burn less bright. If you do resolve to keep me alive, I'll do everything in my power to help you, to help this world, stop Evelyn. But I cannot make a guarantee, which people so often look for from the heavens.
Byron looks between everyone again in the dark.
Remy shrugs.
I think we could use all the help we can get. Are we to turn down a god?
Are you prepared to be a holy man and evangelize her cause?
I know she exists, and I know that I can show others that she exists.
And that is the key.
I thought devotion was the key.
That is
You
devotion.
are very wise, Remy.
Sorry?
She says you're very wise, Remy, and she comes to stand in front of you. And she actually kind of kneels down to be on your level.
Remy leans back a little bit, kind of looks
And
around
she
the room.
says, if you do want to keep me alive, it is not enough for people to just know that I exist. For instance, you all know that other gods exist, but you don't contribute to them and their lives. To know, to truly bring me back, it would take acts of great faith in my name. It would mean devoting charitable works, to sacrifice yourself to the cause, my cause. And that is why I'm going to die. Because I cannot ask that of anyone.
I mean, I don't even really believe in charity. I'm more of like a pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of guy. So.
Yes. She stands and kind of walks back to the center of the room.
I could do it.
She kind of looks very quickly over at you as though she'd like almost forgotten you were there. You could?
I think so. So much of things that I have done have been for my friends. The things with Durokai, protected Remy, took on chaos, protected Byron, took on more chaos, saved Arthas. And that, well, that's probably the best thing I've ever done. Even if it was an accident. And she kind of like smiles at him.
He kind of puts a hand on her shoulder, like feeling just awful about the fact that he was going to be angry at her for killing her brother. And
that's another thing.
Arme like steps up to her.
I don't have any family left because I had to kill my father to save Balern, and then my brother to save my best friend's friend. She kind of like has tears going down her face again.
Elishan. And she puts her hands on the sides of your face and kind of wipes the tears. She says, "Would you truly do this for me?"
I would.
You see there's kind of matching tears running down her cheeks. She closes her eyes for a moment and then leans in and kind of kisses your forehead. And when she does, there's this kind of same like feeling of electricity through you. And it kind of like makes your fingers tingle and your toes tingle. And she just whispers, "Thank you. You, I suppose." And she kind of smiles. "You're my champion now." And yeah, so from now on, you're, if you choose to accept, are immune to poison and disease of all types, amongst potential other things when she gets stronger.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's gonna pull you into a hug.
Having been bitten by a vamp.
Yeah. Man, this writer is like all about the Deus Ex Machina. So she pulls you into a hug and says, "I'll speak with you again soon. But I have to go now." And she releases you and reaches into her pocket or a fold of her dress that kind of looks unseen, and she pulls out a small silver chain with a silver circle that has a dove carrying a sprig of holly in it, or the insignia, not a real dove. And she presses it into your hand. Thank you all so much, she says. And she begins heading for the door.
Hi. Weird fucking day.
Amazing. And from then on, like when you next go, she is just gone. There's no sign of her as far as you can see anywhere in the castle.
So what, are you a paladin now?
I don't know. But seems fitting, doesn't it? Considering.
Nah. Better you than me, that's for sure.
I don't think you're any stranger to sacrifice, Remy, as much as you like to pretend to be selfish.
Wow. Sort of a philosophical difference between, charity and generosity, I guess. I don't know.
I'm not sure that there is,
Anyway.
but
No, it's a philosophical difference.
I can't remember. Did you tell us about your sister, or is it just Brian that knows that?
Just funny.
Okay. Yeah, so she won't reference that then.
Until we do his backstory arc.
Yeah.
I did ask for it to go over there.
Mm-hmm.
I think like Byron, like his view kind of just lingers on her. She disappears up the stairs until they're put back into, relative darkness. I know we have the gem of brightness or whatever. And he kind of just like blinks a little bit, and that sympathetic feeling or whatever comes out of his chest.
Green kind of wanders up to Remy, just like kind of pulls on his arm and just says, I think she was a witch.
Yeah, something like that. Fucking magic, man. Hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have burned her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
have I
Well,
taught?
next time.
I've taught none of you anything.
I'm just kidding.
I am the worst teacher ever.
Nah, you're pretty good.
So what would y'all like to do now?
Remy wants to devote the rest of his life to becoming the god of kicking ass.
This is like, if I get enough people to believe.
Yeah.
He just goes into every town square and goes, I'm going to kick all your asses. And then the next one, the next one.
News. What?
It's like the
Oh
scene
my
from
god,
Pulp
that's the
Fiction.
campaign we should have done.
Remy just jumping in and being all like, okay, listen up, you motherfuckers. If any of you sons of bitches moves, I'm going to execute every motherfucking best one of you.
I feel that might be an epilogue. Or, campaign 2.
Totally.
Well, we're in campaign 2, this halfling like jumps into the town square and goes,
Level 20 halfling on a killing spree.
yeah.
Wanna shot me?
No, it's better. It's that this campaign 2 starts in the first temple to Remy. A lot of kicking ass is being erected in a shard. And it's just like people come and just like prostrate themselves, and the priests just kick them from behind.
Get your shit together, dummy. Stop worshipping dumb gods.
So that's how you pay for your sins.
Yeah, kicking the ass.
Rule number 1, tell everybody about Fight Club. Rule number 2. Yeah, after Byron like sighs, he'll maybe sort of dust his hands a little bit and go, "Okay, back to work."
Yeah.
I think we have like a city to repopulate and refugees to talk to and things to clean. Where are those mercenaries?
The dead?
Yeah.
Good question.
Just sort of around.
I mean, they weren't on that. They weren't here yet, but
No.
we have a city to clean up and rebuild, and we have a workforce that we have paid for, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We need to find out if the rest of the city is actually alive. We never saw anybody on our way in.
We evacuated. There was a large evacuation heading down to Bianca.
Oh, that's right.
We were going to try and catch it and turn it around.
Yeah. That'll probably be the next thing we do.
Yes, but also clean up.
Yeah, start get people fixing the city and doing their best. And then while we go talk to some refugees and be like, "Hey guys, we helped you."
All right. So are you going to teleport back to the keep for now? Or are you going to try and find the refugees immediately? What's the plan?
How many more teleportations can you do?
We brought in like a big, like multiple squads, didn't
Okay,
we?
men
Didn't
on
we
the
take an
ship.
airship? Yeah,
We got the airship.
the airship somewhere so we can fly.
Oh, of course, yeah. So you're just going to fly over and try and find them then?
Sure. How far out was the army? Was it like a week or something? I don't even remember. But the Grateful Dead?
Yeah, so they are sort of like arriving because they're sort of like have ended up kind of catching most of the people running away. Though not all of them, but most of them.
Wasn't there like a large refugee group heading to Biorca South? That was where most.
Yeah, so they're on the road south, and then the Eager Dead are coming out of Trest, which is north of Biorca. So they're not going to run into each other.
They came to the they went there at the siege. Didn't the Eager Dead turn up late?
Yeah,
to
so
that
they turned up like
around.
Basically like later that day with a buttload of
refugees,
prisoners. No, not refugees, war prisoners.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I think we told them to turn around and march down to Balern, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well,
they're going to be days out.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we have like a strike team of something like 30, didn't we, or something?
Yeah, I think it was about 30. But that was mostly made up of like your own guards.
Yeah.
Alfred and his men.
We brought Alfred.
Yeah, Alfred.
Perhaps we could leave some of them to clean up, and then we go down to try.
Our guards?
No, like Alfred and the people that his.
I feel like the citizens of Bialka can clean up their own damn city. We just saved it for them.
Byron is actually trying to be considerate that they have like a feasting hall full of their own dead. Like Byron feels that dignified, you enter a refugees, you want them to come back into their city, you don't present them with that. You line their corpses up, with the white shrouds over them in the town square or something, and they can visit their dead. Or there has to be, you have to
whatever. These people aren't coming back. This is a dead city now. Campaign 2, Balern's going to be gone off the map.
I mean, Rose would totally back Byron on this one.
Kidding.
So, I mean, I feel like the best choice is to go and tell them what the situation is, and they can decide who wants to go back and see to, get organizing all the bodies, and they can make a decision about how to deal with their own dead. But if
you would honestly just leave them, on the dinner plates where they were for the people to come and clean up.
That's necessarily what Remy's suggesting. Like, I think he's saying like go talk to them, tell them how it is, and then you can still come back and deal with that or whatever. But like
making big decisions about mass burials for them seems insensitive.
I actually agree with you on that one.
I didn't say mass burial. I said put them out in the market square and put a shroud on them, and they can come visit their corpses. I just wanted them not on the tables. I imagine still with like forks in them or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Either way.
And like their palace covered in blood and vamp dust.
You know who likes to sweep?
We could leave Crean one-man cleaning team.
Can't trust them around all this fresh meat, though.
That's
Hey,
true.
it would be disposed of in a very environmentally friendly way.
Nobody is.
Circle of
Everyone's like, hey, how come all these corpses are like a shin bone's length shorter? What's going on?
So yeah. I don't know what you want to do. I didn't realize
I
this
don't
was
think
going
it's
to
that big a deal, honestly.
No. Byron collects some vampire ash until people are ready to go.
Elishan is like hollowed out and weary, so she's ready to go whenever you guys are.
Yeah, let's look out.
Arthur's just like keeping an arm around her at all times at this point. So you can kind of round up all your troops. Is that what you're doing? Or are you leaving some behind?
I imagine that some of Alfred's men, if not Alfred himself, would probably volunteer themselves like before we even say anything to stay behind and clean up, because it kind of seems to be like the kind of thing that Alfred would do, at least.
Alfred would come, should come with those.
That's what I was about to say. Is, well, Alfred would volunteer to stay behind and begin cleaning up if you want.
Byron would ask him to leave his men here and for Alfred to come, because if they can see a face, maybe that'll help them.
He'd remind you that he's been a tool of Gaia for a long time in oppressing these people.
I don't know if a redemption story would help. Because otherwise, if he's scared of being mobbed, like if we send all the mob back home again, won't he just be mobbed? If he doesn't come clean or whatever.
It's a good point, man.
I mean, if he gives his testimony to them that he helped, he apologizes or whatever, and will seek some redemption, but he helped bring down the tyrants, and now we will look for a new ruler. I think Byron thinks he needs to clean the air. Yes.
Okay.
Or he can just skulk around if he wants, I guess. Whatever the group decides.
He is nervous about, mob justice, but he will come if you think it's the right thing to do.
Anyone? No decision?
I think that's... I voiced mine.
Yeah, I think Brian's right. If we just leave him here, they'll come back to the city and be like, yeah, we knew you were, but if he comes with us and has a chance to come clean.
It's mob justice now or mob justice later, and if he goes with mob justice now, we can help protect him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I have no strong opinions. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. He will agree to come then. But you can see there's like a slight kind of strain and kind of stiffness to the way he moves, and there's like a vein kind of in his temple, like poking out.
Byron mostly doesn't have much weight in these emotional reactions, so he's like, this is the most logical position.
Okay.
He's coming with him, temple bulge or no temple bulge.
I believe a temple bulge is actually what happens when a priest wears tighty whities.
Nope.
Anyway,
Be more of a rabbi, really, if it was a temple.
that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fun while it lasted, that joke. So yeah, you guys kind of load up the airship, and kind of head off. So you are leaving like all of Alfred's men to begin cleanup, and so they kind of have the grisly task of preparing the bodies as Byron kind of suggested with the white sheets and kind of trying to provide them some dignity. And you fly kind of south for a good couple hours before you see the signs of campfires and mass movement kind of below you. And as you drop lower and lower and lower, you just see about a few thousand people just kind of all sitting dejectedly, camping. You know, there's tents. Some people are just kind of rolled up in thin bedrolls next to the fire, you know, with no roof over their heads. Some are in wagons, and you know, it's very ramshackle. But all of them begin staring up and pointing, and there's a few screams as the airship kind of drops below the clouds and comes into view of these people. And as you land at the camp, there's a few that kind of push their way to the front of the oncoming crowd that sort of forms around the ship. The key one being a very tall, broad man who looks to be in his kind of mid-50s, but well-muscled and very fit. And he kind of crosses his arms and looks up at you as you all kind of jump down. And when Alfred comes down, the whole crowd like begins to kind of bristle, and all eyes appear to be on him. And he sort of like demurs beneath their gaze, like sort of nervously looking up at them.
Does anyone wish to take the lead, or do you want me to?
They're all just staring at you, waiting for you to say something.
Gaiad is dead, and so is Alorn Vessler. I think Elishon will kind of yell out.
There's a murmur, like that just rushes through the crowd, and then a few cheers go up, but a few people kind of quell it and, you know, assume it's some kind of trick of Gaiad's. And the man steps forward. He says, "How can we believe you?"
I'm Alorn Vessler's daughter, and I am the one that killed him, along with Rose and the divine light of Lathander.
Let me share a glance.
Final
The man sort of
blow,
looks,
man. Final blow. What?
The man sort of looks back at like a couple of the people he was with, and they sort of nod to him. And they say, "He's truly dead."
He is.
The body of Gaiad has Remington's blade still stuck in his brow, several hundred leagues north of here.
Remy blushes at all the attention.
And Alorn is dust in the wind. This is all that's left of him, and she'll pull like the amulet out.
He like stares at it for a moment before turning back to his sort of consorts. "I believe them. I think he's dead." And the murmur like runs through the crowd again. Who are you people?
I'm Elishon.
And we're her friends.
God damn it.
I thought we were going with Rennie and the ass kickers.
That too. I'm Elishon. This is Rose, Byron, and Remy.
And this man you already know.
He came to our keep several months ago, and we fought and captured him, and with his help, we were able to turn the tide against Skyad and prepare this war that we won. He was invaluable.
He was saving his own neck.
I don't think so. He was concerned with the lives and well-being of the men who served him. We had to prove ourselves worthy, and just as he has proved himself to us.
The man sort of looks down. And then back up at Alfred.
We all had to make
Kind of like-
sacrifices to get here.
Man, you're already on brand. Nice.
Yeah.
And he kind of like takes a step up to Alfred, who kind of straightens and like tries not to show his fear. And the man's a little bit taller than Alfred, and he says, "You did some awful things to your own people." And Alfred like can't handle the man's stare and kind of looks away, and he says, "I did. You're right. But no, there's no excuse, no penance for what I did, what my men did. But your home is your own now. Just take it back." And he's sort of like looking away from the man, and if you were expecting some big speech, it's clear that Alfred's kind of not able to give one at this time. Like he's thinking about it, but he kind of hates himself as well.
So just going to ask, were men and women in the fight against the keep? They're soldiers. They're
Not
armies.
that. In the big fight, yes, but all of Alfred's men are dudes.
Sure. I'm just going to step forward and, look all impressive with magic and an airship and the rest of it. Your husbands, sons, daughters, and wives threw themselves at the keep north of here, much farther north, twice, under the guise and rule of Gaiad and Alorn. Twice we repulsed them, defeated them, but both times those who aimed for such terrible intent shed that intent, Alfred included. All the evil that has pervaded this kingdom has been the problem of two people. No one else. No more, no less. All of you have lost, sacrificed, and he kind of like gives a nod, staying on brand. But you shall have to no longer. Your homes are clear and free. All you have to do is to return to them.
A lot of dead bodies, though.
He kind of like holds a hand up. Those who have lost, that we've managed to recover, do reside there for your final wishes. We have aimed to make something at the keep, at Haven. We aim to make something of Belern too. We would have you govern yourselves, and we would help to assist that, help your recovery. We have resources we can offer, talents we can offer. It is your decision. Talk amongst yourselves. But that is what is ahead of you.
The man kind of contemplates what you're saying for a moment, turns back and talks to the sort of few people close to him. Before it turns back to you, Byron, and he says, "That's it. The tyrants are dead. Our homes are free. There's nothing. Why did you do this?"
Well, I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, most of it.
We each perhaps had our own reasons, but know that there are greater threats out there, and the world is now safer without those two. Humanity has to stick together against what's coming. And he says like the last bit quieter, like just for the man to hear. And he like holds out his hand to him.
To shake.
Yeah.
He takes it. And he says, "My name is Tade. I speak for these people. And I'll say, I suppose, what every single one of them would say if they could, which is that this is not a debt we could ever repay. If what you say is true, then I don't know. Thank you."
Yeah, don't worry, buddy. We'll find some way for you to make it up to us.
We have no reason to lie. If you like, we can take someone back to Balern so that you can confirm with your own eyes that the castle is indeed empty. And then you could return here to your people and before moving them back in, if you like.
He nods. "It is not that I don't trust you, but I can't ask these people to walk all the way back without
It's a
proof."
big responsibility, yes.
He nods. "So glad that you understand. Thank you. How long will it take to get there on that thing?"
A few hours, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then allow me to organize these people quickly, and I would be grateful if you could take me back.
You bet. As captain, I welcome you aboard. Just be careful. She's real rickety, you know. Don't jump up and down or it might fall out of the sky.
He's kidding. He's totally
or
kidding.
am I?
The man goes slightly white, and turns back to his sort of kind of council, and just kind of, you see him like pointing off and, you know, organizing basically them to all bed down and get a few hours rest while he's away before returning. I'm ready. Thank you. And so, unless you guys would like to say anything else.
Load up, take him back, go see, load back up, bring him back so you can organize his people.
Yeah. So he kind of sees like the rest of the Alfred's men like carrying out bodies, and he kind of sees the empty city and the empty throne, and like walks into one of the rooms maybe, and eventually, unless there's something you'd like to say.
I was just going to say, I don't, because we took the ship there, I think I might have the teleports to do it. So maybe we ship there, and then when he's done, I teleport him back, and then I can teleport back home, and the others can take the boat with the auto pilot.
Yeah. Okay. Dope.
if that's necessary. If no one has anything else to do, or I presume we're all going to rest up while they trek back to the city, and then we can return to it later, or are we going to camp
Yeah.
out the dead city?
We should just the only other thing we should do is contact the eager dead and make sure they're on board to guard the city.
Yeah.
I don't have the spell slots.
I have a magnificent mansion we can camp out in, so even if we have to stay in Balern, we can stay in style. But how many teleports do you have, Byron? Dan?
I think I used one to get people onto the roof. Me and Rose, I presume. So I think I have 2 left. So I can take him back to his people and then come back home or to the city. And it means that you guys could get a head start on the ship if we were heading home, or we can stay in the city to wait for people. But the eager dead aren't there for days, and I think the refugees aren't there for days either. Because
Yeah,
Couldn't we fly to the eager dead if we're just flying that way anyway?
Yeah, you
sure,
definitely could.
if people didn't have a message, sure, you probably see them going north. I was just saying we could get a.
yeah. No, I have 1 third level spell slot for ascending. Did I meet any? Oh, I met. What's his?
Tegwin.
Tegwin.
Yeah, we can talk to the dead.
Yeah.
The dead.
So you can.
That's a different spell.
I think, like as a show of good faith or whatever, we could stay here while Byron teleports Tade, and then teleports Tade back, and then once Tade's back here, we can. Oh wait, no, hold on.
No, so what I was
Yeah,
going to
I
do
see,
is
I see, I
we
see.
ship to
Yeah.
the city, then I teleport Tade back, and then I come back myself. So
Gotcha.
you guys wouldn't have to spend like an extra couple of hours flying around for no reason.
Gotcha.
And we
I
could
like
either
it.
camp out in the city, or we could camp out the keep and then come back.
Camp here if we got a mansion.
Sure.
I
So
mean,
I'll
the
do
boat's got bunks.
But it's not a mansion.
True. I mean, the other. Are you going to invite everyone in, or maybe some people can sleep in the boat? Who knows?
I totally could pop up the mansion and let everybody have a feast.
Including Alfred's men?
Mhm.
How generous.
Dope.
You know, we've totally like flown over Elaine like several times.
Yeah.
While she's stomping around.
Bitch can walk.
I imagine she went off like kind of east
Sure.
rather than south.
Whenever Rose gets mad at somebody, she stays mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever we do, if we end up at home, then we're at home. If not, like Elishan will pop up the mansion and invite whoever
Okay.
is about.
Sure.
So
Let's camp out in the city then. So I teleport after the guy's got his fill. I'll teleport him back home to his people and give him well wish or whatever, and when we should expect him, and then I'll teleport back home again.
yeah, and he just sets about like telling everyone that it's true, that they can all go home and never have to worry about tyrants again.
Ding dong, which is dead, which almost the wicked witch.
Totally. And as he and as you return, there's I suppose a magical glowing doorway waiting for you.
Yeah. I can take some time to, soak in all of the adulation of all of those people while everyone else is gone, and then comes home the victorious hero.
Now, does the Magnificent Mansion have a door for Byron to be behind so that everyone can one at a time come and knock to talk to him?
It's a mimic. Is it like a mimic of the keep? It just looks.
Yeah, I think like maybe it would be kind of a literal home away from home, but I think like kind of like in the kind of rosy colored glasses that Elishan maybe has, like the green room for Remy's area, like the plants are like, nice and vibrant and like greener than they should be. And then like the books are like the lighting in the library doesn't have like the little shadows that sometimes like the candles can't quite reach everywhere. It's like perfectly lit. And
There's no weird marks all over Elishan's room.
Yeah, there's no weird marks all over Elishan's room. Rose's room is like hers, but like even though it shouldn't physically be possible, there's a balcony facing a like sunset or sunrise that like no other place in the mansion can see. And so it's like anytime Rose wants, she can go out into this balcony and see whichever sunrise, sunset that she sunrise. And so it's like a never-ending dawn in like her little area of the of her rooms.
Cute.
And so it's like one of those like if we had like unlimited platinum and we could make the keep up like to be our dream keep. That's what like Elishan has tried to like make for everybody.
And everyone's like, what the fuck do we have a physical keep anyway?
Wasn't it expensive to cast the spell?
No, it just takes a while.
Oh,
think.
okay. I thought it was a pretty hefty material component.
Is it?
I don't think so.
don't think so. I hope
I
not.
think it's just, nice flavor out of combat stuff.
Squeeze a few chords, it'll be fine.
An ivory, a miniature portal carved from ivory, or a small piece of polished marble, or a tiny silver spoon. Oh wait, no, I need all of those. A portal carved from ivory, a marble, and silver
costs
spoon.
15 gold to cast.
Yeah, pretty much.
It doesn't consume them.
No.
Um,
So she just
I
she
think it
has
should
like
be just a miniature of the keep. It should,
Purchase 15 gold.
yeah.
it should just be a tiny, portable version of the keep, like lunchbox size, and you put it on the ground.
Yeah, there's it's like a little like piece of marble that like maybe whenever we first came to the keep, there was like a broken piece of marble that Elishan found whenever we were exploring the place, and she picked up. And then like there's a silver spoon that went missing at one point from the blissful mistress that she like borrowed but then forgot to return, but then like was all like, oh, I should totally use this for this thing. And then like a little portal made from ivory that Arthas carved. More than likely.
You would totally, like, Elishan would totally be one of those people that like went to the blissful mistress and just walked off with a cup and a plate and stuff. And Helga's like, where have these damn things gone? And
They're all
room is
up in
just filled
Elishan's.
with- Exactly.
Yeah, they're all in
imagine-
Elishan's room.
I imagine Byron's the same because he likes eating in the library, like when he's studying, but they always get brought back clean.
Milton, yeah.
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 Right with the
polished to a perfect shine.
Yeah, it's like a spoon that like she had up on her desk. It got like knocked under and then like, forgot about it. And then whenever she like was researching this spell was all like, oh, this is perfect. And then just it's now for that. But it's all stuff from the keep.
So, as you enjoy a tasty meal and warm beds, I'm assuming each of you is going to have want to have a one-on-one scene with one another. So why don't we get that process started right now?
4 hours later.
Yeah. I am going to bed. I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Great session, Rob. My work here is done.
I just have in the notes. I just put for that speech because I couldn't write it all down. I put Byron stands for and gives the speech of the guilt of many, the culpability of the few, and sacrifices of all. So I think Byron's like really chuffed with his speech that he gave. Maybe like sorting some notes or something in the library.
Amazing. Okay. Well, I think I'll kick it off. When Arthas and Elishan are finally alone, Arthur sort of will come sit by her. Sort of, I imagine he kind of takes her hands in his and tries, kind of wills her to look up at him. You okay?
Not especially.
No, I don't suppose you would be. Sort of wraps an arm around your shoulder. It kind of pulls you in, trying to make you feel like safe. And do you want to talk about it?
What is there to say? I spent most of my adult life running away from Aloran and making sure that I never had to go back. And I mean, to be fair, as soon as Octavius was able, he kind of did the same. We both tried to stay away from him. And
That's... Well, you don't have to ever see him again, but I know that what you just went through makes it seem like today's a... Well, I imagine it seems pretty dark right now.
I wanted to be free from my father, but I didn't want to be free from him at the expense of Tavi's life. That's what it feels like happened.
You have to remember that Tavi wasn't... He wasn't turned today. He was already turned. Even if you weren't free of Alorn, Tavi would still be a vampire. There's nothing you could have done.
Are we sure about that?
Don't think you can be sure about anything, but if you spend your life thinking about it, you'll never forgive yourself.
But that's my specialty, overthinking things.
He chuckles. It is. But you need to try and let yourself move on. I'm not saying you should try and ignore your feelings, because that never works, but you can't let it ruin the rest of your life. Make sure that with the rest of what you have, whether it's thanks to Tavi or not, you make it worth it. Sort of shrugs.
At least I still have you.
Of course you do. You always will.
That would have been the perfect moment for him to break up with her.
Yes, I've been seeing this other this other werewolf chick behind your back.
Only hope she doesn't have nightmares of Baron like immolating Arthur's.
Do you think I did the right thing with Octavius? I mean, I know he...
I think it takes a moment. I don't know. But I think that where he is now, he's not going to feel any pain. And he's not going to dread his existence. You know, Layla always used to say to me, you shouldn't pity the dead, because they get to go on while we're stuck here.
It's not so bad being stuck here.
No.
As long
I
as,
suppose not.
the company's right. And she'll try like a little like half-hearted grin at him.
Yeah. And he'll sort of return it. I think that the next few days are not going to feel good. But I think you'll know by the end of it that she did the right thing. I don't think that your brother, if he was really your brother, could attack you like that. Do you?
No. I think the Tavi I knew would have rather hurt himself before he would hurt me.
Arthur nods, kind of glad that she's like moving through it. Exactly. I think at first I hoped that we could help him, but I think he was beyond help. And I think that this way he didn't have to face too much misery before he went.
You're right. As always.
Now you know how it feels. Now, I think in this instance, there are two things we should do. One is get an early night, and two is stay up really late and get shit-faced. But it's really up to you. He tries to grin again.
Shit-faced or early bedtimes.
By the way, there's two things we can do. There's only really one thing we can do. We should go get drunk.
Yeah, I kind of want to show you the bar. It's kind of amazing. It's actually a replica of the bar that Rose and I used to hang out in back in Virus. You'll like it.
He grins and just, I'd like that.
Let's go. And she'll like grab his hand and drag him down the stairs.
Boom, 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 boom. Awesome. What's everyone else do?
Remy's up in the garden, seeing how good his tomatoes taste now that they're made of magic.
This magic weed is the shit, yo.
Yeah, he'll just be kind of like going through the growing things and seeing what can be brought down to the kitchen and what can be smoked and what can be snorted, stuff like that.
I imagine it's sort of like everything's amazing, but you know that it's fabricated almost. So it's like
like it was made by flavor scientists.
Yeah, and I imagine like the halfling in you is sort of like doesn't taste as good.
Right.
As the way Mum used to make it.
Something that grew out of the earth.
I would also point out that like Elishon doesn't ever like partake in like your pipe weed or anything. So like while it might burn and smell and smoke the way that your stuff does, it doesn't have like that same chemical reaction because like all it is like it looks the way Elishon sees it and it smells the way that Elishon smells it whenever you smoke it.
Well, this just means that Elishon has to get high. So she can make better magic pipe weed.
Now Remy has a personal quest. It's like added to his journal. There's scribbling sounds.
It's become God of Ass Kicking.
and pipe weed on the side.
I cover a wide variety of domains. It's mostly booze, pipe weed, and ass kicking.
I want to be a pipe weed cleric in the new campaign.
Hell yeah.
All hallucination magic.
That's the holy symbol. Is just like the cleric just pulling up the pipe and being like, sacred flame.
Oh man, his misty steps would just be the best. Just like, disappears in a puff of weed smoke.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally one of the domain spells. Yeah.
Spiritual bong.
Instead of spirit guardians, it's just like bomb ass cotton rips.
All this healing is like massive bags of Doritos and like pizzas just to cure his munchies. All right, let's get back to the depressing shit. So, what are Rose and Bigon doing?
So is this because Remy said like the food is coming down to the kitchen or something? Is this before the meal? Are we just kind of chatting, relaxing in various places, unwinding?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go and find Rose in her permanent sunrise room, which must be awful to sleep in.
There are doors leading to the balcony, so she can shut the light out, of course.
So I think Byron like instinctually goes to the library for a bit, and then is kind of like unusually like fidgety, perhaps, or like can't. I don't know. Maybe like he pulls open the books and like they're all blank on the inside or something.
Except the ones Elishan's read.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like one in every like what like I don't know, 4 out of 10 maybe have something in or something. I don't know. And that kind of disturbs
Or
him
like
a little.
random Elishan styles, like summaries. She can't quite remember. She's like, this book's something to do with like goblins or.
Yes, that would be amazing. That he opens like the tome on goblins, and it's just got like a 1-page summary.
They're like the books that Rob sends us instead of like the actual books.
Yes.
It's just the summaries of Rob's books.
That's what those actually are.
Yeah.
So it kind of like makes him a little uncomfortable, maybe. So he like kind of gets up and dusts himself down a little, perhaps, and goes to go find Rose, wherever she may be.
She'd probably be in her room reading a little book of scriptures.
Okay. So there's a knock at the door.
It's open.
The handle turns, but it's the mage hand doing it and opening the door, and Byron just strolls in. And he kind of like, maybe like almost like hands behind his back, maybe. And he just kind of walks into the room and kind of just inspects it. And is not like facing you necessarily, and just sort of stands there for a moment.
Please have a seat.
He turns to like look at you in the prophet's seat and does so. So
Could we have done it?
Cured him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a lot of basis to stand on right now. I believe the science is fledgling at best, but like I said to Elishan, I don't make that lightly. We've done things that I've never heard of nor read of. The things we have done with chaos. And Evelyn seems a greater threat to me than any vampire. So I was confident when I made that claim. I honestly tried to talk to your friend to mediate a situation that didn't resolve and where it went.
There was no way we were going to talk her down.
He kind of like rubs the bridge of his nose. I do wish I could have made her see that. I mean, she doesn't know what we're capable of. And he kind of like looks, shares a moment maybe between you. I think we could have.
There is a reason she was a very good Pale Guard, or is a very good Pale Guard. They tend to recruit people, like-minded individuals who are steadfast in their conviction.
I can see the admirable nature of that. I tried to offer a solution. Everybody won. And he kind of like, his hand runs through his hair. And And he kind of squints his eyes, well, sort of closes his eyes a little bit. I didn't want to do it, you know. And maybe you see like a little flicker of the blue flame in his hands. I don't know where this power comes from. Really, it is primordial magic.
I find it interesting that you use it so willingly, it seems, without knowing the nature of it.
I mean, he kind of looks at you, and there's a smile. Isn't that faith? That's the nature of magic.
It is. But you seem very logical and like to understand things.
I mean, I've studied the book and the incantations that it comes from. It's a lot of power. And it's why I haven't. And he kind of like pauses for a second, because these are very important. There's a very important point to him, is that he is meticulous in his reports, but I'm not sure if he's ever mentioned that book. Or I'm going to say he hasn't, or at least not the great description of what it is capable of. Certainly not the blue flame magic. Well, I don't think this is appropriate to be known to the world.
And you're comfortable being the keeper of this knowledge and making that call?
He thinks for a moment, but that's almost. He's not necessarily terrible. He's pretty terrible at hiding, perhaps, his intentions. If you get to know him, and he already knows the answer to that question, and he says yes, like emphatically. It is a weapon that seems to come without a cost for now, and if it helps us against our enemies and against Evelyn, then it seems to be much less costly than anything else that we've been using. Our friends, the powers of chaos, the rest of it. These cursed artifacts. This seems to be the one good thing, perhaps.
For now. I'm
now.
worried what this is going to cost us in the end to win this one.
As am I. I don't know exactly how to broach the subject with Alashan. I did very much want to save him, but to be the one that has killed someone so close to her, just when he bit her, well, I felt it well up inside me.
I think we should encourage her to not bottle up her emotions. I almost want to suggest that she holds proper rights for him in whatever capacity she sees fit. I mean, whatever that was, I don't think it was her brother anymore. But she still lost him. And for all the evil her father was, it was still her father. It's going to take her toll. Its toll on her, I know. She'll hide it and pretend it doesn't. But I don't know much beyond that.
He thinks for a moment, because he hadn't necessarily got there in his thought process, but I think it would be good for her. Certainly for Octavius. her father if she wants to. There's a great many funerals on the horizon. I do think it's important to remember the dead. Remember the cost. And then we all spoke to a god. And she's found new faith.
Hopefully that will strengthen her.
Even Arame seemed concerned for the domains that she presides over, almost weary of the sacrifices that were put upon her. She didn't wish that upon anyone else. And yet she seemed glad when Leshan took up the mantle.
It's because Elishan understands exactly what Arame was talking about. You take up the mantle of sacrifice, even though you don't want to, because rightfully so or wrongly so, you assume you're the only one that can.
It's not all on her shoulders, though. Like you said with Remy, with all of us.
You know as well as I do that being the truth doesn't necessarily mean that's what Elishan believes.
He nods. I think we should set up a temple. Perhaps it can be where the headstone of Tavi will rest, but a temple to sacrifice. She
Perhaps
needs more followers.
Yeah. We should probably open our borders to more religions as well. Probably wouldn't hurt. We're going to need all the help we can get.
Remembering his echoed words from the basement, I agree. Arame talking about to the other gods that they are stronger than her and that they could do what she did. She thought as much, and he kind of like pauses for it's obviously perhaps a sensitive subject, but no other god has. Maybe they don't know, they haven't seen Evelyn's machinations, but she is having a growing effect on the world, and they never stepped in. Could we change that?
I may be misremembering some of the things that we learned when we initially learned of Arame, but I thought there were other gods at the time that were involved.
Maybe.
So there were other gods of Orathil, but she didn't inform you whether or not any of them helped her against Evelyn.
Sure.
Might have been involved in sealing Evelyn, but they weren't involved in keeping her locked away at the very least. It seemed to have been Arame's.
But Arame did say that she felt that these new gods were stronger, better, smarter, and maybe they could help better than she could. Seemed to be her point, right? That's how I remembered it.
Yeah, like they've all got huge followings.
Sure.
Which means they're all big boys.
Yeah, but she seemed to think that they could help, and that they didn't, and that's what Byron has a problem with.
I mean, that's not what she was trying to say necessarily, but if that's
that they could.
Find out. Yeah. Like they may not have even been around. Like, depending on what she says, she doesn't really know them because she has lived for so long.
Yeah.
In Orathel. Like she's she's a goddess of Orathyllin, so her kind of worldview is slightly marred by that. So, like her knowledge of the other gods is not extensive.
Well, I mean, regardless, Rose will kind of run her hand over the cover of the book that she was reading. I mean, I certainly feel as if Lathander has called me north and put this in my path. And given me gifts. And will continue to bless me.
I don't mean to diminish his contribution, but it seems like that Arame made an active effort to stop the chaos that is seeping into the world, and that not just Lathander, but the Pantheon as a whole, perhaps they don't quite know of the threat that faces us. Could we petition them, speak to them like we do her?
I've written letters and I've yet to receive response, letting them know of the chaos that we fought, asking for help. A call to arms, almost.
I mean, I've written these reports and kept the holes informed, but I suppose no army of mages have turned up on our doorstep either.
Yeah, we need to be more proactive.
Perhaps we do. I was thinking like a more divine petition. She spoke of talking to the gods directly. Do you think that's possible for us, with or without her?
I mean, there are ways to commune with the gods.
Just puts a new perspective on things. If she is, well, she seemed to be who she said she was. To speak to one, to have one stand in front of you, makes them feel as if they are perhaps closer than they are.
It can be a powerful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a funny thing. And he kind of like stands from his chair. Not enough just to witness them, but to dedicate your time to them, your life and soul.
My life's calling.
He kind of like puts his hand, or the fingers of his hand, like lightly against his chest. And does Lathander make you feel that way? The way she made, and he kind of like trails off. But you sort of see it, I don't know, in his eyes. I presume you felt it like he did.
The sadness.
Well, the sadness, and when it like turned to joy or thankfulness or appreciation, like those were more feelings than he's used to having. So like having them like enter him was an interesting experience for him.
When I was first called to his service, I was. It was like that, and every once in a while, I still have moments in prayer where I'll feel emotions more strongly and know that it's Lathander guiding me towards a certain course of action. I mean, I feel his presence with me most times.
Is that warmth?
Very much so.
A comforting thought.
It is.
Well, I feel our services will be needed in the next couple of days to rebuild this nation. They have a lot to fix.
I can't imagine saying, "Here are the keys to the kingdom. Rule it as you see fit." Won't create a power vacuum.
I offered our help. It didn't feel right, necessary to force it on them, but we'll
I
keep
agree.
a watchful hand and a watchful eye.
I agree, but it would be foolish to not. I don't want to say steer the conversation, but certainly assist as needed.
Well, there was speak of the Grateful Dead, the reluctant leader, and then what? Wasn't there a prince or a princess? Something?
A nephew that I've
Nephew.
heard.
Perhaps they can begin to search for him. Hopefully, his father's influences will not have changed him. Or maybe they could elect something more democratic. That Tade seemed reliable.
Seemed like a good fellow. I'm happy that he didn't seem to. He understood the redemption and welcomed him in. Arthur?
Yeah.
Alfred. These A names.
Yeah.
Sosman.
Yes. I mean, we know Alfred to have been a changed man. I don't think they will quite accept him on the throne. But
Oh,
maybe
no,
an
but
advisory role.
as long as they don't throw him in prison, we'll be fine.
Yes. Well, reunite the refugees with the prisoners, the survivors taken from the battlefield, and see what they can rebuild or build anew.
This place is going to be a mess for some time to come.
It is. But an investment worth building, nonetheless. Well, that and perhaps we have a new assignment for Craig. I'm sure he could get this place shipshape relatively quickly.
I'm sure he could, but our truest ally.
And he kind of like stops maybe at the door and kind of like looks to you. I presume like the smirk on your face or something. Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I don't think it's far enough, but
And I think he sort of steps over the threshold, going, "I believe dinner should be soon," and kind of just walks out. And I think like he walks out, and then maybe the mage hand comes around and just closes the door after him.
Yeah, no, I think that's as good a place as any to leave it for today.
yay!
Come back and do the rest of the awkward, angsty conversation.